This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Thrown under the bus.
No. Always live. Always real. Always unpredictable.
I'm not okay with that.
It sounded good when I thought.
Log on and join our live conversation.
Yes, I don't like
right.
that.
You're 100% right. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Monday, June 10th. We are live, and we're talking about what you're talking about. I'm here with Stephanie, Erica, Brandon. I'm Tori. Sam has the day off. We miss you, Sammy. Let's get started. Shocking video of a crane collapse in downtown Dallas. A woman caught the moment on camera. A giant crane fell onto an apartment complex yesterday afternoon during stormy weather. One person is dead and another 5 are injured. As you can see, the wreckage is pretty intense, with all 5 stories of the eastern end of the building destroyed. A parking garage also suffered extensive damage. The company that owns the crane called it a tragic accident. How does that rest with you? Tragic accident. We've seen this before, and some are saying the wind had a lot to do with it. The weather was very windy.
Right, but I mean, here's the thing. It really bothers me that we have this quantifying way of when it's a tragedy, and if there's only one death, then
it's not.
It could have been worse. It's like, well, yeah, it could have been worse, but it should have never have happened.
Right.
And we do understand what happens to cranes when weather comes in. We do have warnings of weather.
Right.
I feel like there's more that needs to be done, and people need to be a little bit more proactive about this. You're talking about a major city. Someone woke up yesterday and is dead now because of neglect, in my opinion. That's structural integrity.
Would you sue? Would you sue for civilly and say this is negligible? This is negligence for death?
I think they have a case. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I used to live in Dallas last year, and this is up and coming city. It's still growing, and you see all these buildings with the cranes. Same in Charlotte, and we have one here. Just think about the weather here.
Yeah,
we get these
we had
bad
hail
hailstorms,
like 2 days ago.
those sort of things. What if something was to happen? God forbid something was to happen, and they say, "Oh, it's not really a tragedy. It could have been even worse." No, like Erica said, we woke up that next morning without our lives because, some sort of negligence.
I think whoever owns these companies, these construction places, obviously need to have certain measures in place. If there's bad weather, the crane comes down or it's removed away from any other buildings. It's pretty simple. I mean, I just don't see why this has even happened. It's just embarrassing, really. It's just terrible.
Yeah, and I think we should all learn to work on our infrastructure. Our buildings, our bridges are all important. All right now, but big news, guys. Baseball legend David Ortiz, Big Papi, is recovering after being shot in a nightclub in the Dominican Republic. Kelly Schubert has the latest.
I do, Tori. Former Boston Red Sox star David Ortiz is out of surgery and recovering after being shot point blank on Sunday. Take a look at the security footage. You can see people having a good time at a packed nightclub, but look at the top of your screen. You see the gunman fire his shot, and then you see Ortiz grab his stomach and hit the ground. Right now, multiple suspects are in custody being questioned, but the good news, Tori, is Ortiz is expected to be okay.
Can't take down Big Papi.
Big Papi.
Let's go, Big
terrifying.
Papi. Absolutely. But in the bag too, Erica. What type of coward does that? And the type of guy he is in that country. I mean, he's
a hero
that's looked at as, like you said, yes, a hero. Those guys that come from the Puerto Ricos, from the Dominican Republics, and they make it in the NFL, NBA, whichever, MLB, they send money back. They make sure they build playgrounds.
That's part of the economy in some ways.
That's part of the economy. It's just unreal how something like this can happen.
Well, and I mean, you have to consider what's happening in Dominican Republic right now, too. Constantly in the news, American tourists have been dying for no explainable reason. This isn't great news for tourism, and they depend on tourism there, so I hope it gets figured out.
Yeah, I'm just so glad he's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So prayers for Big Papi from all of us here. Guys, good news. Chris Pratt and Katherine Schwarzenegger say they're feeling blessed right now. The couple tied the knot yesterday. They shared this darling photo on Instagram, writing, quote, "Yesterday was the best day of our lives. We became husband and wife in front of our God, our families, and those we love." But some fans are bothered by what Chris said, that it was the best day of his life. You see, Chris was married before to actress Anna Faris, and the two have a 6-year-old son together, Jack. So should he be calling his new wedding the best day of his life?
Yes.
Okay, so I gotta admit, as soon as I saw that, I was like, ooh, I bet Anna, that hurts for Anna, because you'd think Jack being born would have to still be the best day of your life.
Okay, it's
Do
silly.
I need to check myself?
No, I feel like it's silly to really quantify what the best day of your life is, because that's the best day of your life as is up until this moment.
Right.
You can't really say that at the birth of a child, and let me just make this very clear. He said it was the best day of our lives.
Yeah, that's right.
That means their lives together. That's the first moment that they got married
That's a
and
great
became
point, I
one.
think. That's a
So
good point.
anything that happened before that, and I'm not talking about the child, I think we could have a little bit of flexibility and duality of thought here, but that's a part of the reason how he got to where he's at.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm divorced and remarried, and yes, the best day of our lives together was our wedding day, and we've had better days since then, but that was the best day of our lives, and that means nothing about my past relationship.
Well said. What do you think, Steph?
I literally think it's ridiculous that people have got this much time that you sit and pick apart a sentence on someone on their wedding day. I mean, it's really ridiculous.
the internet.
I fell for it because I immediately thought, oh God, that's so mean. And then
But
I was like, okay,
why?
because I thought you don't say that and you've already been married and had a baby. I would think, ooh, but she's right. Semantics matter. It is the best day of their lives.
But you have multiple best days when you have a baby, when you get married, when you see, like, I don't know, when I saw my sister getting married, that was one of the best days of my life. There's been lots of times where I've been like, wow, this is a really special day. Does it really matter? Have you got nothing else to do?
Wait.
Then write
Seeing
in
someone else get
about
married
that.
was the best day of your life after all the successes you've had with your
Yeah.
life? Seeing
It's my
someone else get
sister.
married?
Yeah.
You can't question someone's best day of their lives.
This is a talk show. I want to talk.
All right, you can talk. You can talk.
That makes sense. You have siblings. One of the best days of my life was watching my sister graduate from college.
There you go.
I cried like a baby.
That's
You would have
right.
thought she was my child.
Sorry. I loved it when my brother got married, but I had won a Super Bowl prior to that. I had done other great
Well,
things.
excuse
in my
me.
life.
Do you want to
have
pick up
this-
the names you're
You know,
dropping?
those big,
I
those
said
big
my brother.
accomplishments.
No one knows my brother. I can't. That's not name dropping.
All right, fine.
I think she was talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
Not your brother.
Yeah.
Speaking of super people, Justin Bieber is ready to throw down. The 25-year-old singer challenged Tom Cruise to a fight, and we're not too sure why. So Bieber tweeted, I want to challenge Tom Cruise to fight in the octagon. Tom, if you don't take this fight, you're scared and you will never live it down. Who is willing to put on the fight? No word yet from the 56-year-old Mission Impossible star who does his own stunts, but one person did take up Bieber's request. UFC champion Conor McGregor tweeted, if Tom Cruise is man enough to accept this challenge, McGregor Sports and Entertainment will host the bout. So does Cruise have the sprouts to fight like he does in the movies? Stay tuned to find out. Is this, I just realized, is this a Bieber McGregor? Have they planned this to like make money and this is their way of like calling him out for it?
I can't see Justin Bieber and Conor McGregor being besties and doing that. Really, they're like the
isn't he
opposite ends of the
boxing now?
spectrum.
But remember when Floyd Mayweather used to come out, who used to lead him out? Who used to lead that camp out? Justin Bieber.
Justin
so
Bieber.
I'm thinking this is something where maybe as part of a workout
Right.
to stay in shape, he's been boxing, beating up on a bag, and thinking like, hey, I'm tough enough to take on Tom Cruise. But a lot of people don't know. When you get punched in the face, it's a lot different than just beating up on the bag.
Justin Bieber is going to be awful in a fight, let's be real.
I think Tom Cruise should take him in an
Seems-
instant.
It seems so strange for so many different
I know, I
reasons.
feel like I'm on an
I
acid trip.
First of all, yes, does Tom Cruise do all of his own stunts? Yes, but doing stunts is like a choreography routine.
Right,
It's not like he's
true.
actually physically. I mean, he's done some
True,
things where he's hurt
true.
himself for sure. But then where else or what other situation would you have a 25-year-old calling out a 56-year-old to get into a octagon?
It's Holly weird.
And
It's Holly
everybody's
weird.
like, oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Whoa, like no.
You know what I want to ask him? What do you mean?
All right, and speaking of fighting, our very own our producer Joel Laban went toe-to-toe in the boxing ring last week, all for a good cause. We would love to get him on camera. Joel! Joel raised nearly $3,000 for a boy who is battling cancer. Bo McDonald was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. Joel, congrats on your charity fight. Big man, you were there.
Yeah, I was there, and I've trained with him while he was getting ready. He's been doing this since December, getting himself ready. And he even got tired a little bit throughout the fight. So, Biebs, I understand it's one thing punching the bag, but when you get punched in the face
You
by a
think
56-year-old man, it's different.
Do you think it should be called Mission Impossible?
We're struggling on
I
this
know.
side. We're
And we have to
struggling.
give a big DVL shout out to Celine Dion. The 51-year-old singer ended her 16-year Las Vegas residency on Saturday night. She had a heartfelt tribute to her late husband at the end of her show with a video montage while she sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Celine's show at the Coliseum has been watched by more than 4.5 million people, and she also used the opportunity to debut a new song called Flying on My Own. Check it out. I would boogie to that. How lame do I sound?
No, actually, people who aren't even Celine Dion fans, you can't help but love this show. I got to see it when it was on the road. A lot of the elements from Vegas were brought on the road. It's incredible. She is incredible. I hope they make it into a Netflix special so more people can see it.
I want to see the work that goes into that.
Yes, I mean, she does not let up. She is running around that stage in those 6-inch stilettos. Wow. Like, she is incredible. And I think it's very symbolic, the song Flying on My Own. Like, you have to, so for 16 years, she's been doing this residency. Yeah. She lost her husband. 2 days later, she lost her brother. Her boys are like growing. It's just so much has happened in the 16 years. And now she's saying, like, I'm flying on my own. I think it's very appropriate.
She's ending the residency, right? So she's just taking off on a new chapter.
Right.
How hard is it to run in 6-inch stiletto?
Oh my goodness.
Brandon,
oh my goodness.
That's talent. What she's doing.
Just that is enough. It's amazing.
Up and down ramps and stuff.
Yeah.
Look at her. She looks incredible.
Stephanie, we can clock Stephanie how fast she is in 6-inch stilettos. I'd love to see that.
Wait, you want me to break my leg or something? All right, darling, we've got it on camera. If it ever happens, I'll be here going to you for the pay afterwards.
Oh, you're going to pay for workers' comp. All right, well, DBL's live, and we'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. Coming up, a devoted teacher gets the gift of life when she least expected it. Miracles really do happen in Heart Threads. And you, the viewer, are our fifth host. Gwyneth Paltrow and new husband Brad Falchuk don't live together full time. Could that be the secret to a happy marriage? We're sharing your comments in today's fifth host.
Hi there, DBL Nation. Happy Monday. We are back here again at Daily Blast Live. Thanks for joining us today. I think we're going to go to the desk and see what's going on over here. Hey, Brandon, someone wrote in and they said they want to see you in heels.
You know, I don't think that's the best idea in the world, but...
How tall are you?
If that happens,
6'5".
If that happens, it would be February.
Because of sweeps?
Yes.
Wait, guys, someone wrote in, be low, it's a new segment, be low in 6-inch heels. We could come up with something like,
I don't think we can.
heal thyself.
I don't
That'd
think
be
we
a
can.
good
It's
little-
not really. It's not really
Heal
part.
thyself?
It's
You
not
like
part
that?
of my brand, but I would love to see Stephanie.
Have you ever been in heels before in your life?
No.
Would you ever try, if we challenged you right now in front of an audience and our boss, to wear heels to see what a woman has to go through just for a couple steps, would you do it?
steps, no,
Just a couple steps.
Probably not.
Really?
If you were paid extra money, would you do it?
Absolutely. Where the things at, man? Get the gold ones. Get the gold ones. Where the gold ones at?
My favorite part of this weekend happened on Friday. My mom and my sister came to the show, and my mom says to Brandon, "Hey, honey, did you ever find a date?"
Dr.
I'm like,
Copper.
Mom. She's like, "Should I not have asked? It was a win a date with Brandon. I just wanted to know if you found a date."
People get so, I think that's so funny.
Did you ever find a date?
My mom goes, I think this happened to a lot of comedians. My mom goes, when Jon Stewart announced he was leaving The Daily Show, she calls me up. She's like, did you hear? You should go out for that part. I'm like, no, I love it. Yeah, it'd be that easy.
Really, really sweet.
Yeah, I think that's.
And thank you, Mrs. Cobb, for being concerned about me, because Erica didn't hook me up with nobody.
You think she's really gonna hook you up with someone?
That is, see, it's the truth.
That is very much the truth.
And this
Yes,
reason for that.
I like to have a separation of church and state.
Wait, which one's church and which one's state?
Y'all can choose. Just keep them separated.
Keep them in the octagon. Welcome back to DBL. It's time for fifth host when we talk about what you're talking about. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow has been married since September, and now she's sharing some surprising new details about her relationship. The Goop beauty mogul revealed that she and her husband, Hollywood producer Brad Falchuk, only live together 4 nights a week, and that he has his own house. She says her friends envy the arrangement and that her intimacy coach approves. I don't know what that is, but people on social media have mixed reactions. So DBL Nation, would living part-time with your partner strengthen or weaken your relationship? And what is an intimacy coach?
I'm about to text right now.
I was like, what is that?
I'm gonna call my intimacy coach.
Oh,
Veronica from Facebook says, I've been living with my husband for more than 30 years. I certainly would enjoy the space and privacy sometimes. Veronica, exactly. When I finally get into a relationship, Erica Cobb hooks me up with some nice Southern woman. I'm gonna need what's called BLT, Brandon London time, because you're gonna need to be away for a little bit.
That is the worst thing I've ever heard.
No, it is not.
BLT.
Yeah.
Clap if you like BLT.
Wait.
Not the sandwich.
Can we just literally just make note that it was only males?
Only men
Males
clapped. I
that
agree with that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
We need our time.
All right. Well, Lily from Facebook says, I trust my husband, but I'm not sure I would trust all the women who would prey on him based on this.
That's interesting.
Some people are convinced to cheat by home wreckers. Wow. Okay, I don't know where to start with that one, but I will say my parents will be celebrating 40 years together, married this year, and for 20 years this has been my parents' arrangement. My parents decided to prioritize the children when my dad had to have a change in career later in life, and so my dad commuted back and forth for 20 years, and now they're reunited. I think they both have their little spaces, and I'm glad they do, because that's got to be hard to live with somebody after 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's very true.
John from YouTube says, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I couldn't agree with you more, John. My dad worked away a lot when I was younger, so I was very used to him not being around maybe every single day. But my mum and dad have been married now for over 30 years, and they're very happy. So I think it definitely works. And I think it's nice to miss someone. It's nice to, not see them maybe for a couple of days, and you're excited to see them again, rather than just being together 24/7.
That's true. Having a little missing time.
Yeah,
is
a little bit
important.
of space.
Yeah, Marvin from YouTube says, my husband is in the military and we have no choice but to spend time apart. It's a constant reminder of how much I love him when he's away. Well, first off, Marvin, thank you for your sacrifice and your family's sacrifice. We really appreciate that. I hadn't really thought of this angle that some people don't have a choice for this. And that just shows you how lucky, and I need to be much more grateful. I love being very close to my husband. We're always together. We're best friends. But now your comment will make me so much more grateful for that. So thank you for that reminder.
All right, thank you. And last but not least, Tiffany from Facebook says, how could this work if you're raising kids together?
That
seems like a lot of work for personal space. Us common folk just go hang out with our friends and vent. Yeah, I think it's something like when I have kids, I don't want to be away from my babies. Like, I'm like my older brother. He's a football coach. He's a young, up-and-coming football coach. Yeah. As soon as he's done for the day, he goes straight home. He goes sees the babies, and that's what I'm looking forward to one day.
Elon's gonna be a good daddy, don't you think? One day.
Of course.
Okay, one day.
Seriously.
Thank you. I know that was from the heart.
That was very nice of you guys.
I felt it.
Well, right now, cops are investigating Oscar winner actor Cuba Gooding Jr. after allegedly groping a woman. Raquel Villanueva has news at the moment.
Sorry, Tori, police confirmed they are investigating Cuba Gooding Jr. after he was accused of groping a woman at a club in New York City last night. The woman called police early this morning to report she was touched without her consent. TMZ says the woman yelled at Cuba after the alleged incident, and security had to get involved to break up the fight. She claims he was very drunk at the time. He now faces a possible forcible touching charge. The 51-year-old actor has not responded yet to the allegations, and I'll keep you updated on this developing story.
We don't know anything, and we've always talked, let's not jump to conclusions, so we won't. These are only allegations, but not a good sign that he got into a fight with security. Not a good sign.
Yep.
And again, when you touch someone and they don't give you consent, this is what happens.
And go ahead, Erica.
I don't want to age shame, but if you're 51 years old, you can't handle your alcohol, you're in the middle of a nightclub at whatever time of night, like, it might be time to hang that up.
Maybe it's time to cross-stitch. I could teach him cross-stitching. Cool. Coming up on DBL, an all-inspiring story about second chances. Find out how a colleague saved a woman's life in the nick of time. Heart Threads is next.
Rachel and Priscilla, welcome to Daily Blast Live. The two of you are involved in a lot of romantic situations with your co-star, Greg Polar. So is it ever difficult for the three of you to get through those saucy, sexy scenes?
The first one was not difficult, but it was nerve-wracking, I think, for me at least. And but there is, with three people filming them, and usually a Steadicam following us around, it's always a little awkward because one person's just waiting like patiently to go in.
I'm just, we're like, have you had a mint?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, is your breath bad? But yeah, the first one for me, there's no one else to look at. Greg's not here.
So how do you get your sauciness on when you're surrounded by loads of strangers?
You just, you try and ignore, you're in the scene and try and ignore everyone around you. But for the most part, our show deals more with the relationship aspect of things, so we don't have many scenes like that.
Are we trying to make you, me, and her look just like you and me?
And I need to know, what are you all looking forward to for the upcoming season? I mean, can you guys tell me any spoilers, any secrets?
Well, there's a baby coming.
Yeah.
I'm pregnant.
Emma's pregnant. So we're all of our characters are trying to, figure out what that's going to look like now, having this little being coming into our lives just when we've sort of stepped into this new role of us being married. And how does that affect all of us?
You guys are all scared of rocking the boat. But the boat needs to be rocked.
It'll be interesting to see how all that plays out, and I look forward to seeing you play a mummy on screen as well.
Thank you. It was fun. Thanks for having us.
Welcome back to DBL. Now today's Heart Threads is all about unexpected miracles. Watch how faith helped a woman survive the toughest battle of her life.
These women are connected through school, faith, and kidneys. After doctors diagnosed Nikisha with stage 5 kidney disease, she spent 3 nights every week after school on dialysis. She never took a sick day, determined to push ahead for her students and family, despite how long it could take to get a match for a new kidney.
They explained to me it'd take 4 to 5 years to get a kidney donor.
Nikisha tried asking friends and family for help, but none were matches. But when Tiffany, a school social worker, learned of Nikisha's struggle, she felt a calling in her heart to help her.
It's like in my heart, I knew that God was just saying, you've got to step up. And the question isn't why, it's why not.
Doctors tested Tiffany's kidneys for 6 months before she knew for sure.
She ran into my room, then she stood outside my door, and she had this sign said, Jesus chose me for you. And I screamed, I cried.
They both went into surgery this spring and made it through successfully, officially intertwining their lives forever.
I am truly blessed. Words will never be able, I guess, to describe how I truly feel, and I truly love you for that. Thank you.
What a great Heart Threads to start off the week. Coming up on DBL, a caught-on-camera creature has all of us scratching our heads. What in the heck is that? Don't go away.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Hi DBL Nation, you're not going to want to miss that video at the end of the show. It kind of creeps me out. I have to admit I can't watch the whole thing, at least not at night. Maybe at 9 a.m. in the morning, I'll be fine seeing it, but if that's the last thing I saw before bed, like I did last night, it was not fun. I definitely slept with the lights on. Anyway, I have a different story to tell you about. This one involves Britney Spears, and she is actually fighting back at some paparazzi right now because they posted photos of her out and about, like at a beach this weekend, or actually riding. She was, oh gosh, what are those called? Leo, help me out here.
Scooters?
No. What do you ride on the water?
A moped? Oh,
a
the
water.
boats?
What? Jet ski.
Jet skis.
Thank you. I forgot the word for jet skis.
Me too.
Anyway, she was out on a jet ski, came back, was walking, and she says the paparazzi altered the photos that they took of her to make her look bigger than she appeared. And to prove her point, she wore the same outfit in the video that she was wearing in the photos to say, and she called it a, quote, conspiracy that they were doing this because she's like, I am skinny when you see me in this video, but on those photos, I look so much heavier. So I just want to know what you think about this, DBL Nation. Do you believe Britney? Do you think it was just a bad angle of the photos? Now, I can't show you those pictures right now because they do belong to paparazzi, but if you were to Google it, they are the first images that come up, and this video is on her social media. So if you compare the two, I just want to know your opinion. and I'm going to now look up jet ski and never forget it again. All right, I'll talk to you later, guys.
Welcome back to DBL. Okay, there's a bizarre video making the rounds online showing what appears to be some sort of creature walking down a driveway. So check it out, but also listen closely. A woman who posted this video on Facebook says it was all caught on her home security camera. She claims that video was not altered, but we can't verify whether it was staged. Now many are saying the creature looks like Dobby from Harry Potter. What do you think? If you didn't know, Dobby was trending on Twitter. That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I am so sorry she's got to move.
She's got to at least do some incense, some work. What is that? Look at the shadow. It's so real.
Somebody doing the walk of shame to
No. If you have any idea what it is, write us in and let us know, but it's certainly not that. All right, we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Hi guys, Kelly Schubert with the DBL Digital Team. It's time for Between Shows with Shuby and
Schulman.
Okay, we out here. Kylie Jenner over the weekend decided to throw a little birthday party.
I want to know what you guys think about this.
Really, Jeff?
Each and every one of you?
Really, right now?
2 words, right?
Each and every one of you.
Yeah.
1 week from today on the Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Cool.
Were you talking about something important?
Yeah.
What?
We're in a break
Kylie
right now.
Jenner.
We're
It's
live here.
Very important.
Oh, there's a camera.
Everyone wants to congratulate Jeff because he's back on Big Brother doing the interviews. Doing the interviews. Okay.
And
wow.
scene.
We'll tell you about the Kylie Jenner story in the next break. Really? Yeah. We can tell him now. Do we have time, Leo? We got time? We got some time.
Anyway, if you've seen The
bit of time.
Handmaid's Tale, you know it's about a dystopian future where women don't have rights to read and all of that. It takes place in the near future, okay? Well, and people have dressed in that to protest when they feel women are being oppressed.
So Kylie Jenner threw a birthday party over the weekend, and the theme was Handmaid's Tale.
She's just drinking in the Handmaid's Tale costume. And I get it, not a big deal, but she definitely didn't watch it or didn't get it.
It's very strange. DBL Nation, please let us know what you think. Sorry for that interruption, but we are excited about Jeff being back doing the Big Brother interviews. Jeff doing the interviews. Bye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You think this hair just naturally stays like that?
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Monday, June 10th. We are live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. I'm here with Jeff, Al, Stephanie. I'm Erica. Sam has the day off. Let's get started. We have a very special guest joining us in studio very shortly. Nat Worth, he was the valedictorian of his high school in Wisconsin this year, but his graduation speech was canceled because he wrote about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school. Definitely stay tuned for that. But first, shocking video of a crane collapse in downtown Dallas. A woman caught the moment on camera. A giant crane fell onto an apartment complex yesterday afternoon during stormy weather. One person is dead and another 5 are injured. As you can see, the wreckage is pretty intense, with all 5 stories of the eastern end of the building destroyed. A parking garage also suffered extensive damage, and the company that owns the crane called the accident tragic. Is this a tragic accident, or is this really neglect of some sort?
I don't know. I don't know. Do you think so?
100%. Yeah, someone's job is to monitor that equipment, know where it is, monitor the weather, and the crane should have been removed and put down. If that was in England and that had happened, someone would be going to prison right now.
So you're saying
yeah,
because
it is neglect.
They knew the weather was coming, so someone should have lowered that crane down?
Well, they should have lowered the crane, and also someone's job every day is to look after that crane to make sure, it's in fully working order, it's doing what it's meant to do. Like when you go to a mechanic, a car garage, whoever it is, job, it's their job, and people have died now. So yeah, someone should go to prison for that.
Yeah, I don't know the protocol on it, so I really can't speak.
Well, I do know that it's a problem when someone's just walking around downtown Dallas and are killed by a crane that somebody should have taken care of. So, well, we'll continue to follow that story as well. Right now, baseball legend David Ortiz is recovering after being shot in a nightclub in the Dominican Republic. Kelly Schubert has the latest.
Erica, former Boston Red Sox star David Ortiz is out of surgery and recovering after being shot point blank on Sunday. Take a look at the security footage, and a warning, this may be disturbing for some. You can see people having a good time at a packed nightclub, but look at the top of the screen. You see the gunman fire his shot, and then you see Ortiz grab his stomach and hit the ground. Right now, multiple suspects are in custody being questioned, but the good news is Ortiz is expected to be okay.
Thank you, Kelly. I know we've all been following this story. I mean, it's super disturbing. He was shot in the back.
Right.
Of all things, which is like the most cowardly thing ever. Yeah. But also the Dominican Republic, it's like we're not hearing any positive news coming out of Dominican Republic.
Well, I don't even know. I think more what I took from the story is that it happened where he's from. And if you think about a lot of rappers that are shot and killed, Nipsey Hussle was shot and killed at a store in his hometown. There is something to be said, and I'm not saying do not give back, do not go back to your roots. But if you think about where a lot of famous people have been killed or attacked, it's where you're from, because these people have seen, they knew Jeff when he was 5, they knew Jeff when he was 15, and now Jeff is Big Brother, Jeff is DBL, and their jealousy is a thing. It is a real thing, and if you look at where people are shot and killed, a lot of times, unfortunately, it is where they're from, because jealousy is a thing, especially when you have so much, and you might be wearing what literally some people's entire family's worth around their neck. Right. It's going to be a problem.
Yeah, man. I can't speak for myself because I've never met him, but I saw the love online. I was watching SportsCenter this whole morning.
He's beloved.
He's beloved everywhere he goes. I mean, by his teammates, by his fans, by everyone. So I don't see what else this could be but jealousy.
Right. It wasn't a robbery, it didn't look like.
Yeah.
Right. No. I mean, I think for some people, they see other successes as their failures, and they just can't divide the two. I'm not sure, but I'm really happy that he is in good condition and recovering. We'll be following this story as well. Well, Chris Pratt and Katherine Schwarzenegger say they're feeling blessed right now. The couple tied the knot yesterday. They shared this photo on Instagram, writing, "Yesterday was the best day of our lives. We became husband and wife in front of God, our families, and those we love." But some fans are bothered by what Chris said, that it was the best day of his life. Chris was married before to actress Anna Faris, and the two have a 6-year-old son together, Jack. Should he be calling his new wedding the best day of his life?
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, I want to hear your opinion. You could speak to this, but you can't live in the past. You have to make this relationship the best thing in your life. I get that people are upset that you didn't say your child. He's trying to make this relationship work and being in the public eye. Give the guy a break.
Yeah, I would have to agree. As someone who's been divorced and remarried, I know people took issue about how I speak about my life and my husband now, but this is where I live in the present. Right. I'm not living what happened, 10 years ago. Plus, I think he said it was the best day of our lives. That means his life with her together, and they have become one unit, and they've decided to get married, and this is the kickoff to their life together. I don't think that we even have to introduce the idea of the son. He knows he's a dad. He lives down the street from his son. I think everything's going to be okay. We need a little bit of flexible thinking.
I think people just read in so too much into everything. There are multiple times and multiple days in your life that are going to be outstanding. Like, you guys have both got more than one child. Does that mean you have to pick one best day of your life and only one of them can be? Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. We share many happy moments. Seriously, people, get something else to do instead of trolling people.
And quickly, to Steph's point, wouldn't it be weirder if he was like, "This is the fourth best day of my life"? You'd be like, "What?"
Exactly. You can't do right for doing wrong, right? You can't please anyone.
Oh boy.
Well, we're moving on because Justin Bieber is back in the news.
Jeff, come get your boy.
I got it.
He's ready to throw down. The 25-year-old singer challenged Tom Cruise, of all people, to a fight, and we're not too sure why. Bieber tweeted, "I want to challenge Tom Cruise to fight in the octagon. Tom, if you don't take this fight, you're scared and you will never live it down. Who is willing to put on the fight?" No word yet from the 56-year-old Mission Impossible star. Who does this? He does his own stunts, but one person did take up Bieber's request. UFC champion Conor McGregor tweeted, "If Tom Cruise is man enough to accept this challenge, McGregor Sports and Entertainment will host the bout." Does Cruise have the sprouts to fight like he does in the movies? Stay tuned to find out. Jeff, what is happening with
Jeff?
your boy
Does he have the sprouts?
Dude, he might have the sprouts. I don't know what's going on with JB. I try to get his back all the time, and he goes and does something like this. Here's my theory. He was sitting on the couch watching TV with his wife, Haley Baldwin. Mission Impossible came on. She's like, "Tom Cruise looks good. He looks good with his abs."
Yeah.
Bieber got jealous. Maybe was doing a little something, having a little fun, got a little jealous, and then offered a fight to him. But if they did throw down, my money would be on Tom Cruise in the submission.
That's right, Jeff. We talked about it before. I know we got to go, but grown man strength is so underrated. When I used to play pickup basketball, the 23-year-old guys with the ripped abs, no problem. The guys that come straight from the construction site, take their Timberlands off, and those guys are made out of granite. You don't want to mess with grown man strength. It's a real thing.
Absolutely.
I don't want to see this fight.
I would.
We are live, and we'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. And coming up on DBL exclusive, a valedictorian was denied the chance to speak at his graduation because he wrote about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school. Well, today, that bright young man, Nat Worth, is live in studio right here on DBL. He'll join our panel and share his emotional experience with us. And later, Jeopardy champ Ken Jennings sits down with DBL, find out what he's been up to and what he thinks about those conspiracy theories around James Holzhauer. Jaw-dropping wins. Don't go away.
Hi guys, Kelly Schubert here. We do have breaking news out of Manhattan. It sounds like a helicopter has crashed into a building in Midtown Manhattan. It shook me right before my hit. That's why I called Erica Torrey. It does look like right now, this is nothing to do with terrorism or anything like that. It seems like it was an accident. But I did see that headline come across and it shook me, it brought me back. So I am going to continue tracking this for you. I want to tell you where it is. It is in Midtown Manhattan, west of 30 Rock and north of Times Square. I did see some video of people being evacuated from a building. I'm hoping everyone's okay, but we do not have that information yet. Again, scary situation here. It sounds like it was a helicopter. At first they said small plane, but now it sounds like it may have been a helicopter that was taking off from a roof. I'm gonna keep tracking this for you, but let's go to the desk right now. Actually, they're getting set up for our guest, so just get excited about that. We're so excited to have him in studio with us. That's what's really cool about our show, is that we can find a story that we really love and bring it to light here on DBL. So I'm really excited to show this to you, and again, I will keep tracking that breaking news. Bye guys.
Welcome back to DBL. The headlines say it all. A high school valedictorian wrote about being gay in his graduation speech. The school administrators canceled it. The story got a lot of coverage from the New York Post, Newsweek, BuzzFeed, and more. Meet Nat Worth, who says he wanted to use his speech at graduation to talk about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school in Wisconsin. But the administration said no. Now follow me here. Nat worked hard for 4 years to be the best in his class, and all he wanted was to come out as himself in front of his classmates. But when the administration found out, they canceled his speech. This story horrified us, and when we heard about it, we picked up the phone and flew him out here, and we're giving him the spotlight. So joining us today is Nat Worth. Let's welcome him. Welcome, Nat. We are really honored to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Your reputation has preceded you as being just one of the brightest stars that we have. When the administration first told you that you were going to be, or the speech was going to be canceled, how did that make you feel?
Initially, I felt very angry at them, of course, like anyone would. But then I knew that I was empowered to finally come forward to the press about how they were abusing their power and to oppress students and to silence voices of students in their school.
So did they give you a reason, or were you surprised by their decision?
So on Monday, they came forward to me and told me that they were concerned about me writing a speech to give at graduation, and that they wanted me to submit to them a rough draft by Wednesday. And I had already written the speech on Sunday, so I submitted the rough draft to them on Monday night. And then on Tuesday, they called me to their office and told me that they wouldn't be letting me give a speech because they didn't trust me to say what I had written. And I even gave them a disclaimer and with the rough draft that had said that I was willing to take out any parts that they didn't want or that they thought might be offensive at graduation, and they didn't want to hear it. They wouldn't let me give a speech.
Well, it's important that we know that we reached out to Sheboygan Lutheran High School for their side of the story. They sent us this statement that reads, Sheboygan Lutheran High School does not discuss student-family issues with the media. They are handled confidentially with each family. I just have to say, as someone who went to a Catholic university, DePaul University is the largest Catholic university in the country. They also have had an LGBTQ studies program since 2013. So I think it's a little off-putting to me because I've gone to a historically Catholic university, and there was nothing but acceptance and inclusion. So when we have that conversation about religion and LGBTQ, I think that we are having a lot of different conversations.
Yeah, it's so important to me to get the message out that God doesn't hate gay people like my school had always taught me. The church I go now to, that I've been going to for a few months, they love gay people and they accept me, and they were so happy to have me and welcome me into their church. And by talking to the press, it's so important for me to say that God does not hate gay people. And if you're a Christian, and if anyone's telling you that, just to ignore all of those voices and to know that God loves you for who you are.
I'm glad you said that, my man.
Yeah,
that was really important.
We want to take a step back, and I want to know, away from this story, so what was it like when you told your parents that you were gay? How was all of that?
Yeah, I told them on my 18th birthday last summer. And I told them while we were in Texas, because I didn't want to be at my house in Wisconsin, because I didn't feel safe in my home. I didn't think it was a healthy environment. And when I told my mom, she was there. Right after I blew out the candles to my birthday cake, I blew them out, and I said, Mom, I'm gay. And she was very stunned, and my parents were surprised. I thought it was always kind of obvious, but they were surprised nonetheless. And since then, it's been a process, and they still don't accept me for who I am, but they haven't kicked me out of the house, and they haven't threatened to disown me. And I know that because of that, I'm very lucky, but it's also, I need to use my voice to speak up for students and kids that do get thrown out.
Wow.
I just, I have a question that I'm supposed to ask you, but I want to ask you this. Obviously, you have a platform, you're here on TV, you were the valedictorian. What would you tell any other student your age, any other human being your age, that maybe doesn't have that platform but still feels like they're immersed in a world of religion that will reject them if they do come out?
Yeah, that's how I felt in my freshman and sophomore year of high school. I just felt surrounded and trapped in my school, in my church, and in my home, because I wasn't able to be myself around any of the people that I was with. It was absolutely horrible. And I know how that feels, and I want to tell anyone in that situation, don't listen to the people around you. Look past them. Find a group of friends. Find people that you can be yourself around and that love you for who you are.
You know, now we have so much more we want to talk to. We're going to talk to you more after this. If you'll stay with us, you're going to hang out for a little bit.
Please stay.
His school blocked him from giving his speech, but today he'll get the chance he was denied and share some of it right here, only on DBL, so don't go away.
Special day here at DBL. Nat, I think I speak for all of us when we say we're blown away by your courage. I didn't have that inside of me at 17. When did you know that you had this fortitude inside of you to, first of all, tell your parents, knowing that that probably wasn't going to be a great conversation, and then tell your community knowing that there was going to be a lot of pushback?
Telling my parents was probably the hardest part. Like, coming out through this process to everyone that went to my school has been really easy because I know that most people are accepting of gay people. But coming out to my parents, I decided to do that because I wanted them to know in order so that way they could begin the process of overcoming their prejudice. Because I know that one day, eventually, they will change their minds. It's just going to take time.
What was the significance of waiting until you're 18 to tell your parents?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I chose to wait until I was 18.
In case you needed to get a place
In case I needed to move out, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had people from work and friends from school that said that I could move in with them if I had to. And I had talked to them before I came out. But I also waited till I was 18 so I couldn't be forced to go to conversion therapy, which is legal in Sheboygan County. And through this process, I've actually been speaking to some legislators, and this week I'm going to be going to Madison, the capital of Wisconsin, to talk about how we can change this.
30 seconds, 30. Do you know people who have had to go
so many
through
questions.
conversion
Yes,
therapy?
people have talked to me because of this, and it motivates me even more to get something done about it.
Welcome back to DBL. We have a very special guest joining us today. His name is Nat Worth. He's the valedictorian of his class at a Lutheran high school in Wisconsin. And as valedictorian, he was going to give a speech at graduation. But the administration canceled it because he wanted to talk about being a gay student at school. Now, Nat, you're using your story to help make changes, and that's so generous to be that generous with your testimony. You've spoken to Wisconsin legislators, and what do you want to see happen?
So Wisconsin has this thing called the School Choice Program, which allocates state tax dollars to fund private school students to pay for their tuition so that way they can go to private school or religious school if they can't afford it. And through this program, there's a certain set of guidelines that school choice schools have to follow. And Lutheran High School participates in this program, and I read through the guidelines, and they've actually broken quite a few of them through discriminating against me as well as many other students at Lutheran High School.
Now, Nat, I want to jump in here because I didn't get a chance to ask you a question. I have a million questions I want to ask you. Thank you so much for being so gracious with your time. I want to know, because I really believe in everything happens for a reason, okay? And you mentioned earlier that you did change your speech to your high school and they still rejected it. Had they accepted that, do you wish you would have gave that speech, or are you happier with the way things turned out now with the voice you have?
When they told me I wouldn't be giving this speech, I wasn't surprised at all. I knew that they were looking for any reason not to let me give this speech. And by them not letting me do that, I now have this platform where I can initiate change on an even bigger level.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
And you spoke at Gay Pride in Milwaukee. Am I saying that right? Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Over the weekend. Experience like?
It was incredible. And one man actually offered to fly me to World Pride in New York at the end of June, which I'm excited to go to for 3 days, I believe. And yeah, speaking at Pride was incredible because I was actually able to write a speech which I gave in front of national television, which will be airing in a few weeks, and it's incredible.
Awesome. So you mentioned the speech, you never gave it, and we want to know, we know you can't give the entire thing right now, but what did you want to say that was censored, because the floor is now yours?
The main thing that I talked about is how the Bible is misunderstood by many Christians, and how the different kinds of Christianity, though we disagree, we're still a very diverse religion, and I talked about how diversity is so important and how it shaped the experiences of all the students in my class as well as students in my school. And I also talked about the need for inclusion and the need to not exclude students like I was excluded socially and also by the administration from my school.
You know, Nat, we talk on the stage a lot about representation mattering, and you are such a bright star, and you are representing so well. I completely agree with Jeff. It's better that you have this platform because someone like you should be at the forefront for everyone who can't be there. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we want to continue to hear your voice because it's such an important voice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nat Worth.
Absolutely, man. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Promote.
Nation, what's going on? Brandon London here for your commercial break or your digital break. Happy Monday. We have a very special guest here. Is walking over there, as you all just saw. Our guy Nat is in the building talking about how he was valedictorian and his school denied him on being able to come out with a speech. And he was going to talk about how he's come out as being LGBT, that sort of thing. Really bright young man, really smart kid, has a great head on his shoulders. And I just think about those times. I just think, I'm very open on the show. I don't know if you guys see the shows where I'm on the panel, but I'm very open about my younger sister growing up, not knowing when to come out, that sort of thing, especially going through high school, going through playing basketball through high school, that sort of thing. So I really listened to his story. I really respect him, not only for being valedictorian and rising above just getting decent grades. He got the best grades, and now he's being an advocate and really speaking out. So congrats to that young man, and good luck to him on his journey. So let's get to the fifth host. We're talking about did we talk about the fifth host during the show just now? The 12th? No. We didn't talk about the fifth host. So we'll be talking about it in the G block. And we want you to write in so we can get more comments for the fifth host. We're talking about Gwyneth Paltrow and her husband. They live together, but for 3 or 4 days out of the week, he lives at home with his kids. He doesn't live with her. So we're asking you all, DBL Nation, do you think that is a great recipe for a healthy relationship? Or do you think there can be problems with that? Since I'm not on the panel, you guys aren't going to hear my 2 cents. I'm going to give my 2 cents right now. I think it's a great idea. I said it this morning. I feel as though you need time away from spouse. I'm not one of those people who could be on like underneath a spouse at all times, doing every little thing together. That's why she has girlfriends. Go hang with your girlfriends. Go bowling. Just make sure you come home later on that night, let's have a good time together. So we want you to write in. We want to see what you guys think about this. Go ahead, get it buzzing. Get it buzzing, because I know you guys want to hear what the hosts have to say about this. But here's some of the comments from the other show. Anna Hansen says, I think it would be better to have separate homes all the time. Wow, that's interesting. James Job says, I prefer having her around. Not sure what her answer would be. Separate bathrooms is nice. His and her sinks are awesome. So go ahead and keep writing in. They're going to read your comments in a bit, and you're going to hear what they got to say. I can't wait to hear what Jeff has to say about this, honestly. Thank you guys for watching.
It's the best.
Welcome back to DBL. Now it's time for our favorite puppy pitch man, Roman, to show us a new dog that's up for adoption. I want everybody to meet Sketch in today's Roman's Rescues.
Sketch, come. Sit.
Good boy.
Good boy. Hi everyone, this is my friend Sketch here. He's 2 years old and he is the sweetest dog and loves to give kisses. And he's been at the shelter since February, which is super sad. And he came with another dog, but the other dog got adopted, and he came in as a stray. He's a super good boy, and is very, very good on a leash, but he only pulls a little bit.
Huh, is he gonna give you any more kisses rather than the business end?
Yeah.
He's like, I like my back rubbed. Sketch, say bye-bye.
Say bye, bud.
Say bye-bye.
Oh, what a cutie Sketches.
I like the little thing on his eye.
Yeah.
Remember
cute.
Spuds McKenzie back in the day? You have no idea who that
No.
is. Do you guys remember
I do,
him?
yeah.
Do you remember Spuds McKenzie?
What's Spuds McKenzie?
He was the Bud Light dog, right?
Right. Or was it
Oh.
Strohs?
There's an old.
I don't know.
Okay, we're gonna get our dogs
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
But let's get him adopted. If you're leaving us right now, you can watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Here's what's coming up next on DBL.
Broadway's biggest stars light up the Tony Award stage. We've got the highlights and the history-making moments. Then, have Gwyneth Paltrow and Brad Falchuk learned the secret to a happy marriage? Why living apart could be the key. And OG Jeopardy champ Ken Jennings sits down with DBL. Find out what he really thinks of James Holzhauer's record-breaking run when we come back.
And Priscilla, welcome to Daily Blast Live. The two of you are involved in a lot of romantic situations with your co-star, Greg Polar. So is it ever difficult for the three of you to get through those saucy, sexy scenes?
The first one was not difficult, but it was nerve-wracking, I think, for me at least. And
Yeah.
But there is, with three people filming them, and usually a Steadicam following us around, it's always a little awkward because one person's just waiting like patiently to go in.
I'm just, we're like, have you had a mint?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, is your breath bad? But yeah, the first one for me, there's no one else to look at. There's no one else to look at. Greg's not here.
So how do you get your sauciness on when you're surrounded by loads of strangers?
You just, you try and ignore, you're in the scene and try and ignore everyone around you. But for the most part, our show deals more with the relationship aspect of things, so we don't have many scenes like that.
Are we trying to make you, me, and her look just like you and me?
And I need to know, what are you all looking forward to for the upcoming season? I mean, can you guys tell me any spoilers, any secrets?
Well, there's a baby coming.
Yeah.
I'm pregnant.
Emma's pregnant. So we're all of our characters are trying to, figure out what that's going to look like now, having this little being coming into our lives just when we've sort of stepped into this new role of us being married. And how does that affect all of us?
You guys are all scared of rocking the boat. But the boat needs to be rocked.
It'll be interesting to see how all that plays out, and I look forward to seeing you play a mummy on screen as well.
We're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We are live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now, so let's get started. Stars hit the red carpet for a historic night at the Tony Awards. Late night host James Corden hosted again, and people are praising him for a job well done. Take a look. His performance was amazing, but only second to that jacket. The big winner of the night was Hadestown, which won Best New Musical along with 7 other awards. Actor Bryan Cranston won his second Tony for Best Performance by an actor in a leading role for the stage adaptation of the movie Network. He defended the media in his acceptance speech. Watch.
Finally, a straight old white man gets a break. I would like to dedicate this to all the real journalists around the world. The media is not the enemy of the people. Demagoguery is the enemy of the people.
Everyone's talking about Oklahoma, which won for Best Musical Revival, but more importantly, actress Ali Stroker won for Best Supporting Actress for that musical. She is the first actor in a wheelchair to win a Tony Award. Listen to her emotional acceptance speech.
This award is for every kid who is watching tonight who has a disability, who has a limitation or a challenge, who has been waiting to see themselves represented in this arena. You are.
So powerful. So powerful.
She looked amazing as well. Beautiful message, and I think this is something that's so important. Like, people need to see this. We need to see all different types of representation constantly, and it's so amazing that she spoke up about that too.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Color, race, religion, whatever it may be, I think it is important. I think we are opening the doors to having that in all of our entertainment industry. So I think that's good, and it gives kids, someone at home with that exact same thing, just what she said, some empowerment to go do what they want to do and live out their dreams. I love it.
It's important to see one. If you can see one, you can be one.
Yep.
Our coverage of the Tony Awards wouldn't be complete without talking about the best and worst dressed. So let's get over to our resident fashionista, Miss Stephanie Jones, with your fashion roundup.
From Hollywood to Broadway, stars put their best dresses on for the Sunday Tony Awards. Rachel Brosnahan was by far my favorite. She looks ethereal in this Christian Dior gown. She's giving me major fairy godmother vibes. I mean, all she needs is a magic wand, and a pumpkin will become a coach to whisk you to the ball. And also, let's take a look at British actress Cynthia Erivo. She looks classy and elegant in this Chris Jolina's dress. It was covered in hundreds of ostrich feathers, and they were hand dipped in yellow dye. She looks amazing. But did you see her handbag? She needs that caution warning sign because she looks so glamorous. And Regina King looks like a vision in pink, both feminine and chic in this silk material. She looks body positive and just gorgeous. And we have to talk about the worst dress, starting with actor Aaron Tveit. Now, I can't even look at this suit with its clashing patterns. Whoever told him to pair that pinstripe jacket with this suit needs to be fired. Never mind the colours, it's awful. And I hate to do this, but Catherine O'Hara, what were you thinking? The actress wore this black and white striped dress, and she's serving up Beetlejuice vibes, and I guess it's on purpose. She starred in Tim Burton's original movie, and the musical adaptation was up for 8 awards last night. But that doesn't mean I'm loving this outfit. I mean, why has it got elbow holes? I don't even think I want to know the answer to that question. Back to you guys.
Elbow
holes? Well, thank you, Stephanie. Actress Polly Perrette says she's Polly Perrette says she's never returning to NCIS. She played forensic specialist Abby Scuto.
Can't help you there.
Scuto for 15 seasons on the crime show, and now says, quote, "I am never coming back. I am terrified of Harmon and him attacking me. I have nightmares about it." Polly is referring to her co-star Mark Harmon, who has a leading role on the show. In a since-deleted tweet, she says a crew member on the show was physically attacked and says she tried stopping it. She also tweets that when she was physically assaulted and lost her job in 2018, Polly did tweet she left the show because of, quote, multiple physical assaults. Now, I got her name wrong, but I was following the story because I found this to be absolutely fascinating, that she would tweet this and then just let it lie, and it's grown into this huge thing.
Yeah.
So what is this about?
I don't know. I was gonna say I'd like to hear from Mark Harmon. I'd like to hear his side of the story. I met Paulie Perrette on just a handful of times on numerous occasions, but she was always really cool. She's really tight knit with the CBS family. I don't think she works for CBS.com a lot. That's how I met her, and she's actually I think on another show now on CBS. So there's some love there. So for her to say this and go against her own family, I feel like there might be something there if she's speaking out this harshly against Mark in her network.
Well, doesn't there have to kind of be something
that's
there?
what I mean.
Because if you put something like that out there and it's not true, isn't that just a recipe for a lawsuit?
Right. Why would you do that? Exactly. But I mean, we don't know now. I'm just going to only speak on what I know.
Yeah, well, it just seemed like she said multiple physical assaults. You would think that there would be, and obviously no one knows, but you would think this is something that CBS of all networks would take very seriously. So the fact that, as far as I know, Erica, Steph, I don't think that they've issued a statement saying that they've opened an internal investigation or anything. So what does that tell you or not tell you?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, to me, it makes no sense for someone to make an allegation like that in public, and the other person hasn't responded. Probably for one of a couple reasons. They're probably talking to their legal team for either to defend them against the accusations or to go after her for defamation. I mean, that's a really
it's not like they didn't just get along. A physical assault. Yeah, that's like people need to be arrested.
She also said multiple. You got to remember that she's been on this show for 15 seasons. That's not a short run. So they're people, like you said, that's a family. When you spend that long, 15 seasons is a lot of time. And so maybe there was some kind of I don't know, of other emotion and attachment involvement there, and I don't know.
Well, we're gonna find out because I'm sure it's not the end of it.
Nope.
Now, right now, cops are investigating Oscar-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. after allegedly groping a woman. Raquel Villanueva has news at this moment.
Yeah, police confirmed they are investigating Cuba Gooding Jr. after he was accused of groping a woman at a club in New York City last night. The woman was called police early this morning to report she was touched without her consent. TMZ says the woman yelled at Cuba after the incident, and security had to get involved and break up the fight. She claims he was very drunk at the time. Now he faces a possible forcible touching charge. Now, the 51-year-old actor has not yet responded to the allegations, and I'll keep you updated on this developing story.
I don't even know what to say. I've met Cuba Gooding Jr. once. I was actually bartending at a nightclub. This was about 15 years ago. He was very kind. But I think at 51, if you're wasted in the middle of the night at a nightclub touching people, there might be some other things going on.
It's a bad look, and this is personal to me just because a lot of my friends are dealing with this, and I think all entertainers, there's a moment where you have to be like, what direction am I going to go? And are you going to constantly, I mean, it must be great to be Cuba Gooding Jr., walk in the nightclub, but it's like when you look around and you're 51 and you're in a nightclub, is that where you really want to be? Now, some people will be like, yes, ride it till the wheels fall off. I'm all for that, but what you do at night comes to the light, literally on a daytime talk show. And I don't think this is the best look. And I think this is why a lot of people kind of move on from that lifestyle, because you make bad decisions when you're reportedly intoxicated.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Well, what's the worst excuse you've used after getting pulled over? One teen takes the cake. Canadian police tweeted about pulling over a 16-year-old. They say he was going 105 miles per hour in a Camaro. His excuse, he ate too many hot wings and needed to use the bathroom.
There you go.
Police fined him $966 for speeding and $203 for driving without a supervising driver. This hits really close to home. My husband, who is Canadian, tells the story, and his dad repeats or helps him tell the story because he got caught driving 100 and something miles an hour the first week that he had his driver's license. And he had his thing all planned out, what he was going to say to the judge. But instead, my father-in-law, his dad, told the judge that he needed to tell the truth, so he had to tell the truth. And apparently, you can get a parole officer. Should I be saying this? You get a parole officer in Canada for driving over the speed limit that much? Yes, it's like a big deal.
Wow. Well, that's right. I think anything over 30 miles an hour is reckless driving. But I mean, honestly, no one, and we don't talk about bodily issues on this show, but we've all been in the car and had to make some real adult decisions about how you're going to get somewhere and how much time you have. Like Erica, when I found out I was lactose intolerant.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm just going to stop you right there. We don't all need to say too much during this.
But tune into the break, and Al's going to tell our first show story.
I will. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to relive that. Coming up on DBL, Gwyneth Paltrow and her new husband, Brad Falchuk, don't live together full time. Could that be the secret to a happy marriage? We're sharing your comments in today's Fifth Host. But first, one-on-one with the original Jeopardy champ, Ken Jennings. Find out what he really thinks about James Holzhauer and his epic run on the game show right after this.
Later, but yeah, our first show, you know, I kind of felt for this young man. Look, the Hot Wings thing might not have been real, but our very first show, very first half hour, somebody who no longer works on the show was like, I'm gonna bring the crew burritos. She had a whole bunch of burritos that she brought from home, and I was nervous. You know, it's our first show ever, live TV. We've never done it before. It was chaos in here. Like, now it's chill. Like, it was chaos. And so I had a couple burritos, and we did the A block and the B block, and I was like, man, either I'm really nervous.
And you guys got the rest.
Yeah, and so I'm just saying, it does happen. We are human beings. So Hot Wings have been known to kickstart some things. And so I'm saying I might have this young man's back in this situation. It looked like a pretty deserted road. He's a 16-year-old with a red Camaro.
So what's a Camaro? Why is that important?
It's a muscle car. It's a sports car designed to go fast.
So it's like a Mustang.
Yes.
I like that.
It's a faster Mustang.
So
Is it?
Oh yeah.
So they're like, if you've got one of those, you're like a sporty, you know.
No, it's not that sporty though. Is it a Camaro?
Dude, usually most Camaros just have 2 seats. It's a sports
Oh,
car.
it is? I don't even know. Do you have any stories where you got out of a ticket? You do?
No. I've been pulled over once in my life.
By the Bobbies?
By the Bobbies, yeah. And there was myself and I think 3 friends. And honestly, I'd gone to go and pick my sister up. It's myself, my friend, my sister and her boyfriend. And my sister and her boyfriend were really drunk, and I'd been to go and pick them up from somewhere. And I genuinely wasn't. Obviously, I was driving with my friend. We weren't drunk, but he made me get out and walk in a line and touch my nose and do all the tests.
Ooh.
But yeah, I had a breathalyzer. I actually said to him, "Oh, give me a breathalyzer. It's never happened to me before."
Wow, you passed.
He gave it to you?
Yeah.
Welcome back to DBL. He holds the record for the most money earned on Jeopardy. That's right. Who is Ken Jennings? Earlier, I went one-on-one with the Trivia Wiz. We chatted about his new game show, and he tells me what he really thinks of the Jeopardy champion who almost dethroned him. That's all in today's DBL Spotlight. Thank you, Ken, for being with us today on DBL. I have to tell you, I am such a huge Jeopardy fan, and you're going to be on a new game show. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that about you. But you're going to be on a new game show, which we'll get to in just a moment. But first, I have to talk about you and James Holzhauer, because his impressive Jeopardy run, there were so many conspiracy theories out there about him throwing the game before he surpassed your winning record. And one of them was that you actually paid him to lose. What's your response to that?
No, there's no Jeopardy conspiracy theory is true. When you have a job like that that's paying you, in James's case, maybe $150,000 an hour, no, honey, he's not going to quit that job. He got beaten fair and square by a very good player, and I feel like it's disrespectful to her to say that maybe he took a dive.
That's fair. Now, I know you said you were rooting for James, but was there any part of you that was just a little bit jealous of all the attention he was getting?
The only thing that bothered me, I gotta say, is that people were calling him Jeopardy James. And I was like, ooh, that sounds really good, you know? Like, he's got the alliteration going for him. I used to be the Jeopardy guy, but I can't compete with that.
I'm not so sure about that. And we know it's inevitable that you and James will go head-to-head at some point in a tournament game. So how would that matchup go? Give me a little play-by-play, if you will.
You know, I gotta say, you know, he's got a very strong Jeopardy strategy. He's got game, he's got a plan. The other players like me, we will have seen his plan, so we can make adjustments, we can play his game. It's been 15 years since I was on Jeopardy. This brain is not getting any younger.
I think that you'd be just fine, Ken. In fact, I think it'd be some of the highest numbers we've ever seen in Jeopardy history, which, let me tell you, I've jumped over a couple couches in the past few weeks, so I know how excited Jeopardy fans are about this.
Let's bring Ken in.
Ken, come on down to the Trivia Dome.
So I jump at the chance to do any kind of a game show like that again. As a game show buff, it was a huge fan to do Best Ever Trivia Show, for example, and to kind of, you know, see if I still have it. I'm going head-to-head against some pretty smart people on that show. As a pretty competitive guy, it's nice to win. It was also a pleasure to get beat and see somebody win the $10,000.
Well, I can't let you go without talking about, of course, we've all been rooting for Alex Trebek during his cancer fight.
So help me. Keep the faith, and we'll win.
We know that his contract with the show is through at least 2022. What do you say to people who want you to be the next Jeopardy host? And could we see that someday?
That's a huge honor that people even think that. I mean, it's very flattering to me that people associate me with Jeopardy, which, as I said, was always my favorite show. But to me, Alex is irreplaceable. Like, it's hard for me to even talk or think about that show without Alex, and to talk about it without getting a little misty. I went out to Jeopardy a couple months ago to see Alex, see how he was doing, and he was in great spirits. He was really buoyed up by all the nice cards and letters he'd been getting from fans. He said, you know, Ken, a lot of people don't get to hear this stuff about themselves until they're dead. You know, I'm very lucky. I got to hear this while I was still alive. And that was very touching to me. I'm really rooting for Alex.
Ken, I thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. We can't wait to watch Best Ever Trivia Show, which premieres today on the Game Show Network.
Thanks, Erica.
He's so awesome. Coming up on DVL, actress Gwyneth Paltrow and new hubby Brad Falchuk admit they don't live together full time. It seems to work for them, but could it work for you? Your comments are next in Fifth Host.
Hello, DVL Nation, and welcome to The Breaks. I've got a story for you guys coming out of, I got a trending story coming for you guys, but this dramatic video footage shows hundreds of people fleeing Six Flags Magic Mountain as wildfires erupted near Southern California amusement park. Some fast-moving brush fire, guys. It ignited near Six Flags Magic Mountain. Go ahead and, we didn't get any clearance to show the video, but go ahead and Google that to check it out. But the fast-moving brush fire ignited near Six Flags Magic Mountain in Hurricane Harbor in California on Sunday, so yesterday. Authorities say that 9 people were taken to the hospital due to the smoke exposure, but they immediately evacuated after and took safety precautions to get the people into safe areas. Some people did have to crouch down into safer areas, and then they evacuated once the fire department came. Luckily, nobody has been reported as unfortunately dead or anything. We're lucky here that nobody has been reported passed on yet. But there have been 9 people taken to the hospital, and there was one park visitor that had a quote. Her name was Rachel Galat, and she was saying, "I was getting iced coffee, and when I walked outside, ash was raining down on me." I mean, just crazy, you guys, crazy. Firefighters battled a 40-acre blaze in hot heat and windy conditions, so it took quite a while to get the fire put out, and the cause of the fire still under investigation. DVL Nation, let us know what you guys do to take safety precautions just in case this happens. It's very, very good to know what to do in a situation like this, and we'll see you guys next break. And clear.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow has been married since September, and now she is sharing some surprising new details about her relationship. The Goop beauty mogul revealed that she and her husband, Hollywood producer Brad Falchuk, only live together 4 nights a week, and that he has his own house. She says her friends envy the arrangement and that her intimacy coach approves. But people on social media have had mixed reaction. So DBL Nation, would living part-time with your partner strengthen or weaken your relationship?
All right, Georgia from Facebook says, for once I agree with Gwyneth on something. My husband travels a lot for work, and I think the time we spend apart really strengthens our relationship. Georgia, there's a reason the phrase, the absence makes the heart grow fonder, has been around forever. I think you have to miss somebody. I would say, you go do something over here, I'll do something over here, we'll meet up, we'll talk about it, then we'll go do more stuff. I think it keeps things fresh.
Marco from Facebook says, I love coming home from work to my wife every day. I don't think I'd like this. Well, I fully respect that, Marco. You know what? I think every relationship is very different. So my grandma and grandfather, they were together for 80 years and they never spent one day apart, and that was the best thing in the world to them. My mum and dad, my dad worked away all the time, and so I grew up seeing him, you know, intermittently, and they've been together for 30 years and they're very happy. So I think each to their own, but I agree with Al. Absence make the heart grow fonder. It's good to miss someone. It's good to be excited to see them, you know?
Yeah, Henrietta from Facebook says, this is definitely the kind of living arrangement that only rich people could afford. My husband and I sometimes struggle to make ends meet. As it is, there's no way we could afford 2 homes. Henrietta, I think you speak for everybody almost on this topic. How about different rooms, though? Just think about it like that. When I have to wake up really early, I'm going to be honest with you, my wife sleeps in a different room. I sleep by myself. She's up with the kids all night. I don't mind that so much because it's once in a while, but I couldn't be away from my kids or my wife, for that matter, for like 3 or 4 days a week. It just wouldn't feel right to me.
Well, Rhonda from Facebook says, absolutely not. It's like these couples who don't even sleep in the same bed. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I think living together is an all or nothing deal. You know, I probably would think differently about this, only my parents did this for 20 years. Until recently, in the past year, my parents did not live under the same roof all week. My dad would travel back and forth because his funeral home was 2 hours away from where we lived. And my parents made the choice not to uproot the children and have to start our lives somewhere else. It was a very selfless thing, and they're going to be celebrating 40 years together under the same roof, finally. So I think it can work, and it also gave me expectations for how things worked with my husband now, because I moved to California and he lived in Colorado. So I understood that we could make that work because my parents set that example. Well, coming up on DBL, a caught on camera creature has all of us scratching our heads. What is that thing? Don't go away.
Oh, get out of here.
We are live. What's going on, DBL Nation? First and foremost,
Be London on the track.
we are live. Thank you, Jeff. Well, that was a little goofy laugh, though. My bad on the laugh. Okay, we're done laugh shaming. First and foremost, make sure, DBL Nation, make sure we support our women's national team, because we are officially in the FIFA World Cup. Women's team plays tomorrow at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, but make sure you're watching DBL and just have the women's team playing on a separate computer or TV or something like that. DBL first, women's national team, they play tomorrow, Women's World Cup 2019. I'm so excited. During our break here, I think that I am going to go to somewhere in France, wherever they're playing. If they're playing in like the semifinals or the finals, I'm going to try and check that game out overseas. Can't wait. But I want to get to you all's comments. We can get back to the fifth host because I didn't get to many comments earlier. You heard our host talk about if spending time apart from that spouse is a good thing or not. I absolutely think it's a great idea. Aspen Lipska says, I mean, everybody's got their own way of dealing with things. If that's what worked for them, I'm glad. At least you're not at each other's throat. Exactly. Sometimes you need a little space. Emily Ryan from Minneapolis says, distance makes the heart grow fonder. Absolutely.
Peggy Williams from YouTube says, I agree, living together daily through good and bad days is what strengthens the bond of marriage. Absolutely, once you have kids, you should live together. I need you guys to start putting in a couple commas or some periods or some dots in there, because I'm reading run-on sentences and it makes me look terrible. Just joking around. Joyce Nicole B says, learn to pick a different corner of your house. I got 4 levels. If ticked, I know which one to go on. Girl, you got 4 levels in that house? I see you, baller. I see you, baller. Yeah, but I absolutely, Kelly, I have no problem with this, because it's a thing where you love someone, that's one thing, but love isn't gonna get you through years of marriage alone.
After 6.5 years.
Sometimes you need your own space
Oh
from
man,
time
yes
to time.
we do. My sister's actually pregnant right now and her husband travels a lot, so occasionally I'll go stay with her. Chris gets a night alone, I get a sister time with my sister, girl time, and it's a good time. It gives us some time apart and it makes our relationship stronger,
And
I think.
I think it shows trust.
Yeah, of course,
I
yeah.
trust you enough
I
to
trust
go
that
and
he's going to be
off
laying on the
your own.
couch watching TV.
And you need that.
Yeah,
you
you do.
absolutely need that. I could never
Yeah.
be one of those people who are
I
just
agree.
all over my
No,
girlfriend or
neither
wife
could I.
the
I wouldn't
entire
like
time.
that.
Absolutely, but keep writing in. We got
Let
more
us
shows
know.
coming up. We got the end of the show coming up now.
Dobby is a free elf.
Yeah.
Welcome back to DBL. There's a bizarre video making the rounds online showing what appears to be some sort of creature walking down a driveway. Check it out.
Get out of here.
Erica hates it.
A woman who posted the video on Facebook says this was all caught by her home security camera. She claims the video was not altered, but we can't verify whether it was staged. Many are saying the creature looks like Dobby from Harry Potter. What do you think?
Yeah.
This is staged.
I'm a big believer in aliens. I'm a big believer in ghosts. I'm a big believer in wondrous things that happen out of the blue when there's no no. What's the word I'm looking for? There's no explanation to them.
There you
This
go.
is fake.
There's another person's shadow, too, that you can see in that.
It's
I
fake.
believe she got to move. That's all I believe. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Happy Monday.
Hi guys, Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. I've got a great story for you that's been trending for a couple days now, and I love it so much I want to tell you about it right now. So Sophie Turner and Joe Jonas, we love our Joe Bros news. Jeff's giving me a look. We love the Jonas Brothers here at Daily Blast Live, and we know you love them as well. So Sophie is actually telling a story about when they were on set and when Joe Jonas cheated on her, or almost cheated on her once, and she says she's totally okay with it. You know why? Leo's gonna pull up the picture for you and show you. He's coming up right now. Joe Jonas was on set and he almost kissed her stunt double, her photo double. Leo's got the picture up for you right now. You could see how that could happen. They look exactly alike, which I guess is the point. But yeah, I guess he went up to her and almost gave her a big old smooch, and then he realized it was not his girlfriend Sophie, so it was a little embarrassing. But I thought that story was really cute, so I wanted to tell you about it. Sophie's obviously a very beautiful woman, and her stunt double looks exactly like her. So 2 beautiful ladies. You can see how Joe would make the mistake. That's okay, Joe, we still love you. All right, guys, we've got a great show coming up. Good stuff. We've got our guest, Nat, in town here at the studio, and he's got a lot of really good things to say. So stay tuned. Bye.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Monday, June 10th. We're live and we're talking about what you're talking about. I'm here with Jeff, Al, Brandon. I'm Tori. Sam has the day off. We miss you, Sammy. Let's get started. We have a very special guest joining us in studio very shortly. Nat Worth. He was the valedictorian of his high school in Wisconsin this year, but his graduation speech was canceled because he wrote about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school. Definitely you want to stay tuned for that. It's amazing. He's incredible. But first, shocking video of a crane collapse in downtown Dallas. A woman caught the moment on camera. A giant crane fell onto an apartment complex yesterday afternoon during stormy weather. Now, one person is dead and another 5 are injured. As you can see, the wreckage is pretty intense, with all 5 stories of the eastern end of the building destroyed. A parking garage also suffered extensive damage. The company that owns the crane called the accident tragic.
Oh, just tragic?
Yeah.
Someone lost their life, lawsuit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, someone's going to be answering to this, you know, because someone's dead and 5 other are injured. It's a shame.
It is a shame, and we give our thoughts and prayers, obviously, and we hope everyone's okay. Speaking of that, right now, baseball legend David Ortiz is recovering after being shot in a nightclub in the Dominican Republic. Kelly Schuberth has the latest.
I do, Tori. Former Boston Red Sox star David Ortiz is out of surgery and recovering after being shot point blank on Sunday. Take a look at the security footage, and a warning, it may be disturbing to some. You can see people having a good time at a packed nightclub, but look at the top of your screen. You can see the gunman fire his shot, and then you see Ortiz grab his stomach and hit the ground. Right now, multiple suspects are in custody being questioned, but the good news today is Ortiz is expected to be okay.
Big Papi. Okay, so tell me a little bit about, you guys know sports all. I'm kind of like the viewer who doesn't know. Tell me a little bit about him.
Where'd you get Big Papi? How'd you know that?
That's all I know.
Well, you were right on that one. Yeah, he's beloved.
Right.
He's beloved in Boston. He's beloved by his teammates. He's beloved by everybody. So I don't know how something like this could happen, especially where he grew up.
Yep.
It wasn't look like he was popping bottles in a nightclub. I don't want to be that stereotypical scene, paint that picture. But it's like everybody loves this guy. So I don't know what the incentive could be to do something like this.
And in the back at point blank range?
And people are like, why didn't he have security? It's because I'm around my loved ones. I'm around the people. I'm in a country who I give back all types of money. I build baseball fields here for people to continue. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, what's going on? How does he get shot?
Brandon, you could be saying the same thing about Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
He was at a store that he built in his hometown to bring revenue to his hometown, and everybody said the same thing. Why didn't you have security with you? It's because you don't think that you need it. But honestly, I would think at home, if you think about where most people, especially unfortunately rappers, are shot and killed, it's their hometown because, I mean, jealousy is a real thing. Yep. And when you're walking around a neighborhood where people knew you when you had nothing and now see that you have everything and they still are lacking, I mean, that's going to create jealousy, and jealousy can manifest itself in violence. So I hope that wasn't the case here, but it didn't seem like there was a robbery going on. That seemed like a very personal, I'm trying to take you out. It's a hit.
I'm so glad he's okay.
Yes.
Chris Pratt, guys, in good news, Katherine Schwarzenegger say they're feeling blessed right now. The couple tied the knot yesterday. They shared this photo on Instagram, writing, "Yesterday was the best day of our lives. We became husband and wife in front of God, our families, and those we love." But some fans are bothered by what Chris said, that it was the best day of his life. So Chris was married before to actress Anna Faris, and the two have a 6-year-old son together, Jack. So should he be calling his wedding the best day of his life?
Yes, absolutely so.
You have no pause at all when you read it?
No, listen, he's trying to move on with his life. He's in the spotlight. He's trying to move on. You can't live in the past. You got to live in the present. The only thing I would question is that my son would be the best day of my life. But listen, he's trying to move on. People still bother him about being with Anna Faris. You know what I mean? He has to make his future work. So he's making this for his wife. This is the best day of my life, honey. I love you. Let's make the rest of our life great together.
Is that fair? Do you agree?
Yeah, because what is he going to rank them, Brandon? What's he going to be like?
He doesn't have to say anything at all.
This is the 4th or 5th best day of my life. That would be a very weird post to have. I mean, I think we all know that he loves his children. Everybody does. So we're going on him saying right now this is the best day of my life.
Of our lives.
And let's hope he's right.
But you got to look at it. There are a lot of people out there. I would be really pissed if my dad, when he got married to my stepmom, was like, "Hey, this is the best day of my life," after having kids with my
I would
mom
too.
and having a great marriage with my mom. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So I'm thinking like best day of your life should be when I was born, when my older brother was born.
Agreed, but remember what it said. It's the best day of our lives. As Erica Cobb, our co-host, pointed out, it is the best day of those two people's lives. So they're starting off a life together. So it's accurate.
All right, because that's cool, because the best day of my stepmom's life was inheriting me as a stepchild.
Let's be honest. Guardians of the Galaxy was the best day of his
I was
life.
about to say, when you got the returns from the first weekend.
Jurassic Park when you did this thing with the Raptors. All right, this one's for you. Justin Bieber is ready to throw down. The 25-year-old singer challenged Tom Cruise to a fight, and we're not sure why. Bieber tweeted, "I want to challenge Tom Cruise to fight in the octagon. Tom, if you don't take this fight, you're scared and you'll never live it down. Who is willing to put on the fight?" No word yet from the 56-year-old Mission Impossible star who does his own stunts, but one person did take up Bieber's request. UFC champion Conor McGregor tweeted, "Hey, if Tom Cruise is man enough to accept the challenge, McGregor Sports and Entertainment will host the bout. Does Cruise have the sprouts to fight like he does in the movies? Stay tuned to find out." First of all, sprouts?
He's Irish.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, there you go.
I'm back.
Listen, I got a little theory of what happened.
Okay.
Biebs was on the couch watching a movie with Haley.
Paint the
and
picture, okay.
Mission Impossible came on. Tom Cruise looking good, looking tough, with his abs out fighting. And Haley probably said, "You know what? Tom Cruise is a good-looking guy." Biebs got a little jealous, maybe having a little fun, his sippy, smoky. I don't know what his flavor is,
and I can
got
add
a little
to that.
jelly.
I can add to that story. He's been training with a boxing coach, hitting
He's
on the
feeling good about
bag. He's
himself?
feeling good, thinking that he can fight. He hasn't been punched in the face in quite some time now, so maybe he thinks he can take a 56-year-old Cruise. Keep the story going, Al.
I was about to say, we always see celebrities hitting the pads, and like that's this big thing. We never see them getting hit. And like Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan till they get hit in the face. And look, I'm just saying, you don't want anything to do with that grown man strength. Tom Cruise is a real dude, a legit guy.
Ethan Hunt, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Here's what I think would happen. Even though Biebs is my boy, first of all, you don't call it someone that's 56, but Biebs would go in there with Mayweather like in his corner, and you think he's all good, and Tom Cruise would just double leg him, tap him out like that.
It's over.
And it'd be done.
Well, speaking of fighting, our very own Joel LeBon went toe-to-toe in the boxing ring last week, all for a good cause. On camera, Joel, you raised nearly $3,000 for a boy who's battling cancer. This is Bo McDonald. He was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer. Joel, we are so proud of you. Congrats on your journey, man. That is awesome, man. That's someone who went into the arena.
Yeah, it's a real fight. Joel did great.
The ring?
Proud of him.
The court side. Way to
There
go,
we
Joel.
go.
All right, we're live. We'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. And coming up, a DBL exclusive. A valedictorian was denied the chance to speak at his graduation because he wrote about being gay at his Lutheran high school. Well, today, that bright young man, Nat Worth, is live in studio right here on DBL. He will join the panel and share his emotional experience with us. And later, Jeopardy champ Ken Jennings sits down with DBL, find out what he's been up to and what he thinks about those conspiracy theories around James Holzhauser's jaw-dropping wins. Don't go away. That's a tongue twister.
Hi guys, Kelly Schuberth here with the DBL Digital team. I'm tracking all the breaking and trending news, and I did want to bring you an update on that helicopter crash I've been telling you about. So again, the helicopter did crash onto the roof of a Midtown Manhattan building in a hard landing, and we did just learn that the pilot did die in that crash. It sparked a fire. That fire has now been extinguished. No indication of terrorism, so that's the most important thing here. Yeah, so, yeah.
So I've been texting my little brother.
Yeah.
He has an internship in Midtown.
Oh gosh.
And he hasn't texted me back, and I'm like freaking out.
Everyone's okay. Everyone's been evacuated.
Okay.
Yep. So no injuries in the building where it landed, except for that pilot. He did pass away. But I did want to bring you that update. I think we're gonna I'll just keep talking to you because we're getting set up for Nat. I will be bringing you his GoFundMe later as well. We should be able to get that in the show, but if we don't have enough time to get it in, I will bring it up for you later in the breaks. But we're so excited to have him here. Again, this is what Daily Blast Live is all about. We find a story that we really like and we want to help him bring his story to light. So here we are. Stay tuned. He's coming up next. Bye, guys.
Welcome back to DBL. The headlines say it all. A high school valedictorian wrote about being gay in his graduation speech. The school administrators canceled it. The story got a lot of coverage from the New York Post, Newsweek, BuzzFeed, and more. Meet Nat Worth, who says he wanted to use his speech at graduation to talk about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school in Wisconsin, but the administration said no. Okay, now follow me here. Nat worked hard for 4 years to be the best in his class, and all he wanted to do was come out as himself in front of his classmates. But when the administration found out, they canceled his speech. This story horrified us, and when we heard about it, we picked up the phone, flew him out here, and we are giving him the spotlight. So joining us today is Nat Worth. Let's welcome him. Welcome, Nat. Thanks for coming. First of all, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Students these days, I would be so scared, and they're so cool these days. Cool.
Listen, things are going to get awkward with Tori, just so you know before we start.
I'm prepared.
Come on. Thanks. Nat's too. All right.
Way to brief them.
All right. I do want to ask you, when the administration said they were going to cancel, how did you feel immediately and then maybe a couple days after?
Yeah, initially I felt very angry at them, but then almost immediately after that initial feeling of anger had passed, I knew that they were empowering me to finally speak up against their abuses of power and to finally make a change by coming forward to the press.
Did you at all think, I'm going to hide away and not do this?
Yeah, my parents initially didn't want me to say anything to any of the press, and they discouraged me. But luckily, I have a supportive group of friends and a supportive church who have given me rides to places and have really enabled me and empowered me to do this.
That's incredible. All right. Now, did they give you a reason, the school? I want to give them a chance to say why, and were you surprised at the choice?
They were very vague. They didn't really say why, but I kind of knew why. So on Monday, they had told me that they were concerned about me giving a speech and that they didn't want my speech to be too controversial for graduation, and they wanted me to submit a rough draft to them by Wednesday. And I had written the speech on the previous Sunday, so I submitted it to them Monday night, which was early, and I submitted it with a disclaimer that said if they didn't like any parts of it, that they could take them out, and that I was willing to cooperate with them.
Wow, you were going to compromise.
Of course,
totally
yes,
compromise.
totally, because that's so important to me, working together and writing a speech that everyone agreed was appropriate for graduation. And then on Tuesday, they called me to their office and told me that I wouldn't be giving a speech.
You're right, a lot cooler. A lot cooler than when I grew up.
Way cooler, right? Wow. All right, well, we reached out to Sheboygan Lutheran High School for their side of the story. They did send us a statement that reads, Sheboygan Lutheran High School does not discuss student family values with the media. They are handled confidentially with each family. And I do want to add, they also added, we use biblical principles for our policies. Wow. I just wanted to add that in. So go ahead, Brennan.
All right, so let's back the story up a little bit. I have a sister that came out during high school. So when did you come out to your parents, and what was that entire conversation like?
Yeah, I came out to my family on my 18th birthday because I didn't feel safe in their house, and I wanted the opportunity to move out if I had to. And I also wanted to wait till I was 18 so they couldn't force me to go to conversion therapy.
Wow.
Which is legal in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, in our county.
Tell us just quickly for the audience, what is conversion therapy?
Conversion therapy is when people, usually for religious reasons, send their children who are under 18 to therapy to change their sexual orientation. Wow. And it's detrimental to kids. And if you've seen the movie that just came out last year called Boy Erased, it's a very accurate depiction of what it's actually like for some people. And I didn't want that to happen to me.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Now, I mean, obviously we're here talking to you about your struggle with your high school, but I think we're forgetting that we're looking at a young man about to go to college.
Absolutely.
So forget you being gay, forget your high school. You're about to embark on this whole new thing. Talk to me. What are you excited about in college? What are you going to study?
Well, now
what
I see lame all my questions.
I'm going to Northeastern University in Boston. Yeah, thanks. And I'm going to be studying entrepreneurship and innovation. Wow. And I'm super excited because I'm going to get to use my creativity to create new things and do something with all the ideas that I have. And I'm also really excited to live in Boston and just a place where being gay doesn't matter, where I'm just a normal person like everyone else. And
you're not a normal person, you're an incredible person.
Yeah, man.
That's my only contention on that. I can't wait to see where your career goes.
That's amazing. And we're going to get to Jeff right after this. We have much more with Nat right after this. His school blocked him from giving a speech, but today he will get the chance he was denied and share some of that right here on DBL. Don't go away.
Are you?
entire northeastern area.
We're live, guys.
Yeah.
All
right. Too cool.
Kimberly wrote it.
Do we have comments?
We do. Do you mind answering some questions?
Yeah,
As
of
we're
course.
talking.
Of course.
Kimberly
Of
says,
course.
"Hey,
I'm not
Nat,
gonna
great
answer.
to have you on the panel today. I grew up in
Yeah.
Wisconsin." And I know how closed-minded people
thanks.
can be, and I feel very proud that you are using this opportunity to share your story. Can I ask you a specific question about Sorry, that's okay. God, no, I'm just kidding. I love Brianna. I would never be like. Do you think that students have had to become activists sooner than we've seen Parkland students have to face gun legislation? You're going to come out and try and fix with Wisconsin legislation statewide to fix discrimination against being gay. Do you feel like you have the responsibility to do that as a high schooler? Because I don't think we ever felt that
I
responsibility.
did not at all.
Yeah. Do you know what
I didn't
I'm
even know
saying?
it existed. Like it was my responsibility.
Yeah, I feel like with all the attention I've gotten, I could easily just aim it all towards myself and soak up the spotlight for myself. But what I really want to do is to change Wisconsin laws so that way students aren't discriminated against like I have been, and to make sure that students are empowered in the future to just go to school and be who they are.
Yeah,
And
you're trying to make it so anyone can just do what they
exactly.
want to
So
do.
nobody has to do this ever again.
Right.
Yeah.
Ned, how did it get out, this whole thing? How did it start?
I threatened to talk to the Sheboygan Press, which is
Okay.
the
So
Sheboygan newspaper,
so smart.
on Wednesday when I met with the administration with my mom to try to reason with them, and they wouldn't be reasoned with. And I threatened to go to the press if they didn't let me give the speech. So
Power of the press.
I went to the press.
Power of the students.
Yeah.
Welcome back to DBL. We have such a special guest joining us today. His name is Nat Worth. He is the valedictorian of his class at Wisconsin. Give a speech at graduation, but to talk about being a gay student at school. This is where I get real jazzed up. You're actually now using this testifying moment to change or trying to change Wisconsin state legislation, which is incredible. You're going all the way up. And how old are you?
18.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. So tell me what you're dealing with the state legislators.
The main thing that I'm fighting for is the enforcement of school choice policy. So school choice is this program that we have in Wisconsin, which enables state funding to be used to fund students to go to private schools, so that way they don't have to pay tuition if they can't afford it. And Lutheran High School participates in this program.
So they get state funds.
Right, yep.
Okay.
Tax
Wow.
dollars.
Wow.
And they're required to follow certain guidelines, which include non-discrimination, and they're also not allowed to force students to take theology classes or attend chapel, which they do. And in fact, they've threatened to expel multiple students for not wanting to take theology.
You also wanted to join a dance team, am I right? And they didn't
Yes,
want
yep.
you to do that as well?
Yeah, I tried to join dance team in my sophomore year of high school. I talked to the coach about it. She had said that it was perfectly fine, and she was excited for a boy to finally join dance. And then I showed up to the first practice, and the executive administrator was also there and said, nope, you're not going to be on dance team because a boy can't do dance at our school.
Really? Because we did a story about the first two male cheerleaders that cheered at the Super Bowl, I believe, this year. So maybe they just didn't review that footage.
Wow.
Well, Ned, I have a question for you because I believe in turning a negative into a positive, and everything happens for a reason. Do you wish you would have gave that speech now, looking back, or are you happy
Ooh, that's a
with
good
what happened
question.
and the platform you have?
I wouldn't change anything. I knew that when they told me that I wouldn't be giving the speech, I wasn't surprised. I expected them to discriminate against me.
Wow.
But I knew that they were empowering me with the perfect story to come forward to the press and create change on an even bigger scale than just my high school.
And I just want to sneak this in too because I thought it was so important. Your belief, your faith is still there and it's still strong.
Yes.
And I want you to say that message that you talked about last hour.
Yes, it's so important for me to tell students and kids that are struggling in situations like mine not to hate themselves, not to listen to the voices around them. Because I remember feeling trapped by my family and my home environment and at my school where people were just able and empowered to be homophobic and intolerant of different kinds of people. And then at church where I was taught to hate myself for who I was and who I am. And my message to people like me is just to ignore all those voices and to accept yourself the way you are, because then you can speak up for yourself.
Wow. Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Wow.
God is love.
That's right. Now, before you go, let's get back to this speech, okay? You never gave it. We know you can't give the entire thing right now, but what did you want to say that was censored? We want to give you the floor and the spotlight.
Yeah, the parts that they didn't like is the one part where I talked about my journey to self-acceptance and how my school, it was difficult to struggle through, especially my first 2 years of high school when I was coming to terms with who I am and that personal struggle. And I also talked about how the church has hurt people by professing hate and how not all churches are like that and how religious diversity is really important and just diversity in general is important when it comes to inclusion. And the main point that I wanted to hammer home that they didn't let me say is that God loves me for who I am and God loves everyone just the way they are.
I love that.
Amen. Beautifully said. Thank you, Network. That's incredible. All right, we'll be right back, guys.
Hey there, DBL Nation, and welcome to The Breaks. Big shout out and thanks to Nat Worth for coming and telling his story with us. Join us again next hour. He's going to be back. But guys, I do have a story coming out of Variety for you. Now, DBL Nation, you got to let me know. What streaming services do you have? You know, do you have Netflix and Hulu? Are you just Netflix? Are you just Hulu? Do you have some of the special ones like DC Universe? Well, guess what? There's another streaming service coming out. BET is going to launch their own streaming service with Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry and Tracy Oliver original series. Now, this is coming out of Variety and has been reported from a source that they know closely working on the platform. It's called BET Plus, and as I just said, it is going to debut with content, original content by Tyler Perry, and a original series from Tracy Oliver called First Wife's Club. So it's going to debut with that content, but DBL Nation, there's a lot of competition. I mean, Warner Media's got a streaming service coming up, which it's already on top of their DC streaming service for their DC content. Disney has a streaming giant service coming out in November called Disney Plus, which will have exclusives for Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Disney movies. I mean, there's a big field of playing competition here in the streaming service space. Now, Apple's also got a streaming service coming up. I mean, it seems like we're taking cable and kind of flipping it 180 and saying, here are channels that you can choose, content that you want to choose from specific channels, and you can get those. Now, FX has its own. There are just all kinds of streaming services coming out. It seems like almost every day there's a new streaming service on the way, but write us in and let us know what services you have. I definitely have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, HBO, and DC Universe. I feel like I'm already kind of got a little mini cable package here, and there's just so many coming out. It seems like every channel is getting their own streaming service, and like I said, it's just an a la carte type of deal now. I mean, you could just stack up and get all the content you want. And DBL Nation, like I said, write us in. Let us know exactly how you feel about this, because I think it's cool to have some a la carte choice and what content you'd like to see. And I think this content will appeal hugely to its audience. I mean, having that on the go, having the original series, being able to queue up your shows whenever you want. I mean, it's a great idea. There's just a lot of competition. So my question is exactly how it's going to do. I hope it doesn't get buried in all the other streaming services, but let us know if you would be interested in checking out this streaming service and what streaming services you guys have. DBL Nation, we'll see you next break.
Welcome back to DBL. Now it's time for our favorite puppy pitch man, Roman, to show us a new dog that's up for adoption. I want everybody to meet Sketch in today's Roman's Rescues.
Sketch, come, sit, Good boy.
Good boy. Hi, everyone. This is my friend Sketch here. He's 2 years old, and he is the sweetest dog and loves to give kisses. And he's been at the shelter since February, which is super sad. And he came with another dog, but the other dog got adopted, and he came in as a stray. He's a super good boy and is very, very good on a leash, but he only pulls a little bit.
Huh, is he gonna give you any more kisses rather than the business end?
Yeah.
He's like, I like my back rubbed. Sketch, say bye-bye.
Say bye, bud.
Say bye-bye.
That's a good boy.
That's a good-looking dog right there.
That's a good-looking
Like
dog.
Spuds McKenzie, remember that dog?
I'd go fishing with that
Cool,
dog.
thanks for answering.
I don't know, Spuds McKenzie.
Pew, 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 pew. Real quick, I just want to give a shout out to our friend Net Worth who was just here. Jacob Henry says, I am blown away with the young man and his courage to use this stage. Fans of DBL are very proud of you and your loud voice. He's going to be a very bright star in the LGBTQ community. So thank you, Net. Thank you. And he's 18.
I was
18
not
years
there when I
old?
was 18 at all.
Couldn't imagine.
No.
The
Oh my
courage.
God. I don't want to know what 18 Al was doing. All right, if you're leaving us right now, you can still watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. Here's what's coming up next.
Broadway's biggest stars light up the Tony Award stage. We've got the highlights and the history-making moments. Then, have Gwyneth Paltrow and Brad Falchuk learn the secret to a happy marriage? Why living apart could be the key. And OG Jeopardy champ Ken Jennings sits down with DBL. Find out what he really thinks of James Holzhauer's record-breaking run when we come back.
Live.
Hi, DBL Nation. Welcome back to the breaks. I hope you had a really good weekend. I did, and I am excited to be back at work. I have some stories to bring you right now. One involves Wendy Williams. Now, we all know that her ex-husband, well, estranged husband for now, has been a lot of talk about what's happened. He recently got in a fight with his son, and cops were called. Now, Wendy is trying to stay positive in these situations, but she recently was kind of approached by a photographer and asked about the situation, and she broke down crying, saying that she wishes that her son and his father can get along, and just that she's not having the best time dealing with this. So we just want to wish Wendy Williams the best of luck. And right now, I don't know if you can see this behind the scenes, someone had to come right through here, so if you heard that, it was Leo. Anyway, DBL Nation, let me know what you think. We wish that whole family well. We never want to see anything sad like that going on. But I will catch you next break. See you guys.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do agree with you.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We are live. We're talking about what you're talking about right now. Let's get it started. Stars hit the red carpet for historic night at the Tony Awards. While everyone is praising James Corden as host, we're just getting ratings that show viewership was at an all-time low last night with less than 6 million viewers. So since you didn't watch, here's what you missed.
Much better.
He's great. He also won a Tony last time. The big winner of the night was Hadestown, which won Best New Musical along with 7 other awards. Actor Bryan Cranston won his second Tony for Best Performance by an actor in a leading role for the stage adaptation of the movie Network. He defended the media in his acceptance speech. Watch this.
Finally, a straight old white man gets a break. I would like to dedicate this to all the real journalists around the world. The media is not the enemy of the people. Demagoguery is the enemy of the people.
Everyone is talking about Oklahoma, which won for Best Musical Revival, but more importantly, actress Ali Stroker won for Best Supporting Actress for that musical. She is the first actor in a wheelchair to win a Tony Award. Listen to her emotional acceptance speech.
This award is for every kid who is watching tonight who has a disability, who has a limitation or a challenge, who has been waiting to see themselves represented in this arena. You are.
That's some confidence right there.
Absolutely.
That's some confidence.
Absolutely. I just remember back when I played in the CFL and I got injured and I enrolled in the Montreal School of Performing Arts. My whole thing was to win a Tony. I didn't want to be a TV host. I didn't really want. I wanted to act, but I wanted to do theater so bad.
Well, we're glad we could be your second choice. That's really but it's really great to hear, though.
Eddie George,
that's awesome.
The former football player Eddie George, he went and he does theater as well, and it's always been something I've been interested in. That's why I started taking classes here as well.
Well, I like that she's representing a certain group of people, a demographic. We always talk about being inclusive on the show. We just had Nate on. That was or Nat. I'm sorry. I'm going to do that all show long. Just had Nat on. Someone out there is watching our show right now, and after seeing Nat.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. There you go. They're going to be inspired. I ruined everything by pronouncing his name wrong, but you get where I'm going with it.
No, totally. I think what she said at the very end is, you are. I'm seeing you. You're seeing me. That's all that needs to be said sometimes.
That's right. I mean, and think about this. We just watched to 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. No one goes, "Wow, can you believe Peter Dinklage? That little person is such a good." No one ever thought about that. He was an actor playing a role. He's also done Othello. If you can act, people are going to sit there and watch, and this woman can act. So. She's going to have a long career and sing, so she'll be just fine. There's a lot coming right behind her. So
and Peter Dinklage has excellent story. If you ever listen to like positivity or motivational stuff, his stuff is excellent.
All right, take a listen to that. Well, our coverage of the Tony Awards would not be complete without talking about the best and worst dressed. So let's get over to our resident fashionista, Stephanie Jones, with our fashion roundup. Steph.
So from Hollywood to Broadway, stars put on their Sunday best for the Tony Awards. Rachel Brosnahan is by far my favorite. I think she looks ethereal in this Christian Dior gown. She's giving me major fairy godmother vibes. I mean, all she needs is a magic wand and your pumpkin will soon become a coach. And now take a look at this British actress, Cynthia Erivo. That's a tough one. She looks classy and elegant in this Chris Jolina's dress. Now, it's covered in hundreds of ostrich feathers that were hand-dipped in yellow dye. She looks amazing. But did you guys see her handbag? She needs that caution warning sign because she looks so glamorous. And Regina King looks like a vision in pink, both feminine and chic in this silky material. She looks body positive and gorgeous. And we have to talk about the worst dressed, starting with actor Aaron Tveit. And I mean, I can't even look at this suit with its clashing patterns. Whoever told him to pair a pinstripe jacket with this suit in black and blue needs to be fired. And I hate to do this, but Catherine O'Hara, what were you thinking? The actress wore this black and white striped dress and she was serving up Beetlejuice vibes on purpose. And so she starred in Tim Burton's original movie, and the musical adaptation was up for 8 awards last night. But I'm still not loving the outfit. I mean, why has it got elbow holes? I mean, I don't even want to know the answer to that. Why, Tori, why?
I think I know why. Do you guys remember the song and dance in Beetlejuice?
Daylight Come.
And she has to...
Yes.
That was because for the elbows, she had to move like that.
You think she thought about all that?
Maybe.
That was the reason?
A little homage.
You just yelled that really loud.
I'm very sorry. All right, I'm sorry. Alrighty, actress Polly Perrette, says she's never returning to NCIS. She played forensic specialist Abby Shudo for 15 seasons on The Crime Show, and now says, quote, I'm not coming back ever. I am terrified of Harmon and him attacking me. I have nightmares about it. So Polly is referring to her co-star Mark Harmon, who has a leading role on the show. In a since-deleted tweet, she says a crew member on the show was physically attacked and says she tried stopping it. In 2018, Polly did tweet she left the show because of, quote, multiple physical assault. So I did a little bit of digging. Harmon brought his dog on to the set and it wasn't trained properly, and there was a really bad dog bite with a crew member, and apparently he kept bringing the dog on allegedly, and she kept saying this is dangerous. That's sort of where I think she's saying the multiple physical assaults, but other than that, CBS is like, we looked into this, we didn't find anything.
I don't know, Tori. I don't know if that can be the thing, because I did some digging as well, and I read up on her and her ex-husband, and they're saying that she has been accused of stalking him, writing handwritten death threats, and climbing through his bedroom to attack one of his female fans. So could there be a little instability here with her? I don't want to victim shame or anything like that, but
one doesn't necessarily have to do with the other.
Yeah, and I would like to hear from Mark Harmon. You know what I mean? I've met Pauly a couple times, working at CBS, and she loves CBS. They always bring her on CBS.com. That's where I met her. She does things for the Grammys. Right. She's always doing things. So she's part of that CBS family. So for her to go back and attack that family and say, I'm not going to do that show. And I think she has a new show coming out on CBS.
With Jane the Virgin actress. Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's just surprising for me. I think there's definitely more details that we're missing out of this story.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we're always going to be with an accusation. It's like, I mean, if it had happened here, if you weren't there, what can you really comment? I mean, you hope it's not true. If it is, let's hope there's an investigation. But there does seem to be a little strangeness.
There's just smells. Something smells fishy. Something smells weird.
What does it smell like?
It smells fishy. All right, right now cops are investigating Oscar winner actor Cuba Gooding Jr. after allegedly groping a woman. Raquel Villanueva has news at the moment. Raquel.
Well, Tori, police confirmed they are investigating Cuba Gooding Jr. after he was accused of groping a woman at a club in New York City last night. The woman called police early this morning to report she was touched without her consent. TMZ says the woman yelled at him after the alleged incident, and security had to get involved to break up the fight. She claims he was very drunk at the time. He now faces a possible forcible touching charge. The 51-year-old actor has not responded yet to the allegations, and I'll keep you updated on this developing story.
Whew. Another thing. Again, all allegations so far, but fighting with security, not a good sign.
How about being in a club at 51? It's just, I mean, I'm not saying it's not a bad thing, but it's like, for me, I'm not going to do it.
It's not. I mean, anybody.
It's not a good look.
I just don't know a lot of people. I mean, we're not at Cuba's level, but we're in entertainment, and we know that there's a certain point where that's just not a good look anymore, especially when you're drunken and accused of such behavior. I mean, it's just there's sloppy. A point where you need to kind of graduate from this kind of behavior. Yeah. And let's hope this isn't true, but if it is, let's hope that obviously she gets the justice she deserves, but also he kind of grows up a little bit, man. It's time to move on. You're 51, and I don't care who you think you are to a 22-year-old. You're not Oscar award-winning. You're that old guy that's being weird.
I mean, I look 22, but I still don't want to go to clubs
anymore. But you're what,
anymore.
94, right? Cool. 98.
Tori got one. And you didn't even have to make the noise yourself.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
Did you
Audio guy. All right.
make your day?
It sure did.
Oh, I'm getting one back.
No, you're not. What's the worst excuse you've ever done or given for being pulled over? One teen takes the cake. Canadian police tweeted about pulling over a 16-year-old. They say he was going 105 miles per hour in a Camaro. His excuse? Too many hot wings, and he needed to use the bathroom. Police fined him $966 for speeding and $203 for driving without a supervising driver. Hot wings, huh?
I mean,
Hot Wheels.
3 miles per hour. In Virginia, you get locked up. Virginia, anything over 10 miles per hour, over the speed limit, you're getting locked up right there, especially in Greene County.
I mean, he might be being honest.
What if he was?
But still, it doesn't matter. I don't want you to wreck into my family car because of you had to go do the number 2 because you had hot wings.
Like a
that's the reason.
I think I might be on Jeff's side on this one. We've all had situations where it's like, hey, I can't take this Camaro back. So, you got to make some decisions. Yeah.
That's so
exactly.
weird. Have you ever had an excuse?
I think we're getting
about the
played
break.
out.
We're getting played off. All right, coming up on DBL, Gwyneth Paltrow and new husband Brad Falchuk don't live together full time. Could that be the secret to a happy marriage? We're sharing your comments in today's Fifth Host. But first, one-on-one with the OG Jeopardy champ, Ken Jennings. Find out what he really thinks about James Holzhauer and his epic run in the game show right after this.
Okay.
You guys want to hear something really cool?
No.
No, this is really cool. Brandon, you're going to want to hear this. It's going viral, and you probably already know it if you're watching because you're online. Get this. A guy started a thread on Twitter, and it's going viral. He said this. He went to visit his relative who had died, and he put flowers on the grave, and he always felt bad about the grave next to him because there was no one who put flowers on. So he started putting flowers on that guy's grave, and he's like, hey, maybe we have a connection. So then he looked into the guy and realized, oh, he murdered his family, so he felt really bad, so he decided to put flowers on the murdered family who also happened to be in that graveyard. And as he went over there being like, this is so crazy, he put it down to apologize to a family he's never met, and a woman was like, what are you doing? That's my grandparents, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm sorry, I did this weird thing, and now I feel bad. Do you happen to want to go for a drink? And they're now married. Well, yeah, you want me to do it all over?
Have we verified that story?
All I heard was something about graves next door.
The wings one or Tory?
Well, both, I
Tory.
guess.
The wings one is from the police department.
So the wings are real. I don't know if it's true, but Anna Navarro tweeted
I'm
it,
glad
and
we're
it's
saying it on TV
beautiful.
if we don't know
No,
it's
no.
true.
It's a guy telling a story on Twitter. It's beautiful.
I don't know if that's that beautiful. I mean, they probably...
Well, I had an excuse once that I was getting a call back for a CBS show or like some network show in LA, and I had to get to the audition, and I had not been called back.
Did you get the ticket?
Yes.
How many tickets do you have?
2 speeding tickets?
I've only got like 2
Yeah.
my entire life.
I also
I'm a
don't-
parking ticket guy. I park wherever I
That's
want.
what kind of guy you are?
Wherever I want. Doesn't matter.
You just have to pay.
Doesn't matter. I'm not paying anything.
You don't pay your parking ticket.
Actually, that's a lie.
You should
because
not be
when
on
I
camera
moved,
saying that out
I
loud.
moved
As
out.
your
I don't have a
attorney.
car. I moved out to LA, and I had all these tickets before I had went to Canada to go
Right.
play. I get back. It's a Friday. I'm feeling good. I had just got paid, and I took the train to the W because I was in North Hollywood. And I get back, and I'm looking around like, where's my car? Call the police office, like, I got a stolen car, blah, 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 blah. They're like, no, just call the tow company.
To
Call
DBL, he holds the record for the most money earned on Jeopardy. That's right. Who is Ken Jennings? Earlier, I went one-on-one with the Trivia Wiz. We chatted about his new game show, and he tells me what he really thinks of the Jeopardy champion who almost dethroned him. That's all in today's DBL Spotlight. Thank you, Ken, for being with us today on DBL. I have to tell you, I am such a huge Jeopardy fan, and you're going to be on a new game show. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that about you. But you're going to be on a new game show, which we'll get to in just a moment. But first, I have to talk about you and James Holzhauer, because his impressive Jeopardy run, there were so many conspiracy theories out there about him throwing the game before he surpassed your winning record. And one of them was that you actually paid him to lose. What's your response to that?
No, there's no Jeopardy conspiracy theory is true. When you have a job like that that's paying you, in James's case, maybe $150,000 an hour, no, honey, he's not going to quit that job. He got beaten fair and square by a very good player, and I feel like it's disrespectful to her to say that maybe he took a dive.
That's fair. Now, I know you said you were rooting for James, but was there any part of you that was just a little bit jealous of all the attention he was getting?
The only thing that bothered me, I gotta say, is that people were calling him Jeopardy James. And I was like, ooh, that sounds really good, you know? Like, he's got the alliteration going for him. I used to be the Jeopardy guy, but I can't compete with that.
I'm not so sure about that. And we know it's inevitable that you and James will go head-to-head at some point in a tournament game. So how would that matchup go? Give me a little play-by-play, if you will.
You know, I gotta say, you know, he's got a very strong Jeopardy strategy. He's got game, he's got a plan. The other players like me, we will have seen his plan, so we can make adjustments, we can play his game. It's been 15 years since I was on Jeopardy. This brain is not getting any younger.
I think that you'd be just fine, Ken. In fact, I think it'd be some of the highest numbers we've ever seen in Jeopardy history, which, let me tell you, I've jumped over a couple couches in the past few weeks, so I know how excited Jeopardy fans are about this.
Let's bring Ken in.
Ken, come on down to the Trivia Dome.
So I jump at the chance to do any kind of a game show like that again. As a game show buff, it was a huge fan to do Best Ever Trivia Show, for example, and to kind of, see if I still have it. I'm going head to head against some pretty smart people on that show. As a pretty competitive guy, it's nice to win. It was also a pleasure to get beat and see somebody win the $10,000.
Well, I can't let you go without talking about, of course, we've all been rooting for Alex Trebek during his cancer fight.
So help me. Keep the faith, and we'll win.
We know that his contract with the show is through at least 2022. What do you say to people who want you to be the next Jeopardy host? And could we see that someday?
That's a huge honor that people even think that. I mean, it's very flattering to me that people associate me with Jeopardy, which, as I said, was always my favorite show. But to me, Alex is irreplaceable. Like, it's hard for me to even talk or think about that show without Alex, and to talk about it without getting a little misty. I went out to Jeopardy a couple months ago to see Alex, see how he was doing, and he was in great spirits. He was really buoyed up by all the nice cards and letters he'd been getting from fans. He said, Ken, a lot of people don't get to hear this stuff about themselves until they're dead. I'm very lucky. I got to hear this while I was still alive. And that was very touching to me. I'm really rooting for Alex.
Ken, I thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. We can't wait to watch Best Ever Trivia Show, which premieres today on the Game Show Network.
Thanks, Erica.
He's so awesome. Coming up on DBL, actress Gwyneth Paltrow and new hubby Brad Falchuk admit they don't live together full time. It seems to work for them, but could it work for you? Your comments are next in Fifth Host.
Oh, I should bring my glasses on. Now, with it being Pride Month, I wanted just to go ahead and make sure that we're celebrating all moments of pride and even bringing up some of the injustices that are happening right now. So, just this past Friday, Layleen Polanco Extravaganza was found dead in her cell at Rikers Correctional Facility with little to no explanation on what happened. Now, this woman was set to be released on June 13th, and New York City Correctional Facility actually even released a statement saying that they don't know what happened, but they're extremely disappointed at the outcome and will be looking into the situation even more. They did not result or see that there's any result of foul play or extreme violence in the situation. Now, this is a little disturbing because, not a little, very disturbing, because this is the 10th trans woman this year to be murdered with little to no news stories or pretty much acting as a mystery at this point as well. So the community is taking this very, very hardly at this time, and it's being almost overlooked because of so much pride parade and celebration that is going on. But it's very important that we do recognize and see that these murders are being almost swept under the rug. Something else that was very upsetting, or that kind of set me off and that alarmed me, is that Rikers Correctional Facility just paid out an $80,000 settlement for a trans woman who claimed sexual harassment against them and won. So for this to have happened months after this settlement happened is very, very alarming, and we want to make sure that the proper paying people are being held accountable for this. So please make sure you guys are checking out the hashtag Justice for Layleen, because it's very important that we talk about these issues. Pride is wonderful and fun, but it doesn't make any sense if we don't actually look at the issues at hand.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host, when we talk about what you're talking about. Stop it, Al. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow has been married since September, and now she is sharing some surprising new details about her relationship. The Goop beauty mogul revealed that she and her husband, Hollywood producer Brad Falchuk, only live together 4 nights a week, and that he has his own house. She says her friends envy the arrangement and that her intimacy coach approves. Cool. But people on social media have mixed reactions. So DBL Nation, does this strengthen or weaken your relationship? And what is an intimacy coach?
I think that's the bigger question. All right.
What is that?
Carrie from Facebook says, my husband and I live apart. He's older than me, and this is his first marriage. Also, I have a teen son who I want to keep in our current school district. This arrangement is working well for us so far. And I think, Carrie, the last part was the most important. This arrangement is working well for you guys. I think every couple has to stop looking at their relationship like a cookie cutter and be like, how does this work for us? You never know. Some people have incredibly long commutes. Some people need their space. Some people snore. Whatever it is, make sure it works for you, and it'll be the key to longevity.
All right. Robin from Facebook says, I've been doing this for 10 years. It does not make a marriage stronger. Well, Robin, like Al said, it works. You know, it's not something that's working for you. But for me, when I'm in a relationship and, you know, I get married, I need some BLT.
Oh, God, you used the phrase again.
I need some BLT, Brandon London time. Like, I need to go downstairs.
I was like, bacon, lettuce, tomato.
No, and I'll take one of those.
Sandwich.
Just no mayo on it. Okay. But you need to get away for a little bit. And I don't see anything that's wrong with that. I want, every time I see my wife or my spouse, I want it to be like, oh my gosh, I'm excited. So I'm so excited. It's like the first time seeing them.
All right, that's not going to happen.
I think I'd fire my intimacy coach if they're like, I think you should move out 4 days a week. Thanks,
Seems like a bad idea for, right?
All right, guys. Kim from Facebook says, my husband goes out to his shop when he needs his personal time. I'm with you there. I mean, I think everyone needs a little personal time. I don't think moving out 4 days a week could be the answer. But me and my wife, when I have to get up early or I have a long day, she lets me sleep by myself. So I thank her for that. But she's up with the kids and she doesn't want to wake me up. She wants to make sure I get a good night's sleep. But leaving the house 4 nights a week, I understand. What's that old saying? Fondness or
absence makes the heart grow fonder.
There it is. I believe in it, but to an extent.
That's a little much.
That's a little much.
Okay.
That's almost full-time absence.
Yeah. That's all the way gone. Yeah. Naomi from YouTube says, what's the point of being married if you don't live together? Just because you're married in one house doesn't mean you can't have your own time. I've been happily married for 18 years under one roof. Mazel tov on your long marriage. I'm someone that it wouldn't have worked. Like Al said, it's each person has their own flavor. My husband and I are super close. We're best friends. We're homebodies. We like to stay together and sort of like huddle down during the weekend. So this wouldn't work for me at all. But I do understand that adding a little distance can pump things up as like, ooh, where have you been?
But not even distance. Al, you said earlier, square feet. Square feet. If you have a lot of square feet, one person can have, or layers or levels to their apartment building or house. One person can have the upstairs, one person can be downstairs for half a day.
That's what they call a man cave.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like everybody just needs their own little.
A diva den. Diva den.
Diva Den. Oh, that's cute.
Diva Den. I've never heard
That's
of
cute. All right, coming up on DBL, thanks for all your comments. A caught on camera creature has all of us scratching our heads. What is that thing? Yeah, don't go away.
Why, hello, DBL Nation. Because we're talking about relationships, I thought I'd be romantic for you. This is a rose for anyone who's feeling a little bit low today, who's feeling like it's the Monday blues, who feels like they just need to know they're being thought about. This is for you guys. It's plastic and it's fake, but who the hell cares? Right, so let's get on with our comments. We've got some comments today about the old husband and wife ball and chain scenario. We're talking about how much time should you or shouldn't you spend together? Gwyneth Paltrow said that her and her husband live separately. I think she had 4 nights a week. He's got children, obviously with another partner, previous partner, so he lives in one home taking care of them, looking after them, and he spends his rest of his time with her. We've had lots of comments today. Some people saying that, you know, they're with their partner all the time. They would hate this scenario. My sister and her husband, they've been married only like a year now, but they've been together for 12 years. They've been childhood sweethearts, and they never spend time apart. They do everything together. Whereas my dad works abroad a lot, away from my mum, and so he's traveling a lot from work, but they've been married for over 30 years. So obviously, I think it depends on the person, the situation, you know, what you feel comfortable with. But instead of me just guessing what you feel comfortable with, why don't we take a look at the old social media sphere and see what you have to say? So, Becky Dalliedge from good old Denver, Colorado, says, alone time is when you're dating, not after you're married. I love my husband and hate when we have to spend one night away from each other. Well, I mean, I think it depends. I like a bit of my own space. I mean, as you all guys know, I'm a little weird. So, I think that whoever I'm with probably would get annoyed of that after a while because, you know, sometimes, and you know, I look all sweet and angelic, but I'm a devil. Really. So, yeah, but that's like my sister and her husband, that's what they're like. Mackie Atterbury, watching in Seattle, is saying, my husband is a firefighter. He works 48-hour shifts. It's not a lifestyle for everyone, but it works for us. Thank you to your husband, Mackie. That's really, really great. I really appreciate that. Margot on YouTube says, her husband and I sleep in different bedrooms. We've got used to it. He works nights. Whatever works, hun. Whatever works.
Welcome back to DBL. All right, there's a bizarre video making the rounds online showing what appears to be some sort of creature walking down a driveway.
Is it you?
Ouch, check it out.
Yes, it's her.
Look at this.
You dance like that,
A
Tori.
woman, no I don't. A woman who posted the video on Facebook says this was all caught on her home security camera. Look at that part.
Do you see the shadow when it first appears? There's a larger shadow.
She says it's not been altered, but we
You
can't
see that?
verify
And then
where-
it walks away. What was that?
I did see that. Can we see it one more? Let's loop it. Ew, that's the part no one wants. Hold on, let's see it one more.
See that big? That's a
No, that's the
person.
door. That's the door.
Oh, it walked out the door.
Yeah, many are saying the creature looks like Dobby from Harry Potter. What do you guys think? Honestly.
Walk of shame. What? That's the walk of shame, alien walk of shame right there.
You think people are doing it with aliens?
It's gonna go hop in the Uber.
We were so good on this show until the last 5 seconds.
You can't say that?
I guess you can.
I didn't even say what. I could have said meant like Jeopardy.
Yeah, it like promotes interspecies
At-home
love.
Jeopardy.
At home Jeopardy with aliens. All right, after that wonderful ending, we'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye.
Hi DBL Nation, Kelly Schubert here with the DBL Digital team. Thanks for joining us today. It's been a great show. We have Nat Worth in studio. From Wisconsin, who his school actually blocked him from giving his speech because he was going to talk about being gay in it, and they did not want him to do that. So he was a valedictorian, and they wouldn't let him give his speech. So Leo's going to pull up his GoFundMe for us. I just want to give you his GoFundMe if you do want to donate. You don't have to donate, but if you do want to, he's going to Northeastern University in Boston, and the tuition there is obviously very expensive. This kid deserves our support. But if you don't have money to donate, that's okay too. Follow him on Instagram at Natworth. So it's NATWERTH. Anyways, guys, he will be with us again in studio for this next show. If you haven't been watching the past 2 shows, it's really moving, really inspirational. For him to be able to talk about this, because I can't imagine how many other kids are going through the same thing he's going through. So it's nice to be able to give him a platform to talk. Anyway, that's coming up again in the next show. Stay tuned. Bye, guys.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, Always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Monday, June 10th. We are live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. And right now, I'm here with Erica, Tori, and Al. I'm Jeff. Let's get to it, guys. We have a very special guest joining us in studio very shortly. That's Nat Worth. He was the valedictorian of his high school in Wisconsin this year, but his graduation speech was canceled because he wrote about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school. Definitely stay tuned for that. He's a terrific guy. You guys are going to hear what he has to say. But first, shocking video. A crane collapsed in downtown Dallas. A woman caught the moment on camera. A giant crane fell onto an apartment complex yesterday afternoon during the stormy weather. One person is dead and another 5 are injured. As you can see, the wreckage is pretty intense, with all 5 stories of the eastern end of the building being destroyed. A parking garage also suffered extensive damage, and the company that owns the crane called the accident tragic.
Yeah.
To say the least.
I don't see this being a tragic accident. I think this is an instance of neglect of some sort, or
like operator error, human error.
Right. Well, because if you have someone's responsible for this crane, all the cranes that are in the area now, someone needs to be responsible for them. When there's weather coming in, we should be able to lower these things or make them more safe. The idea that we're like celebrating the fact that only one person lost their life, granted, to watch the actual video of the building, it is shocking that there was only one casualty,
right.
But that was one casualty too many.
Exactly. I'm with you. I think it was laziness. I think someone didn't want to pull it down, and that's the
Because it was basically wind, is what they're saying, that took this down. So something that could have been avoided.
All right, guys, we're going to move on. Right now, baseball legend David Ortiz is recovering after being shot in a nightclub in the Dominican Republic. Let's get over to Kelly Schubert with the latest.
Jeff, I just got an update, and former Red Sox star David Ortiz is being transported to Boston right now for treatment after being shot point blank on Sunday. Take a look at the security footage, and a warning, it may be disturbing to some. You can see people having a good time at a packed nightclub, but look at the top of your screen. You see the gunman fire his shot, and then you see Ortiz grab his stomach and hit the ground. Right now, multiple suspects are in custody being questioned, but the good news is Ortiz is expected to be okay. Jeff?
Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, this was a shock. I was watching ESPN this morning, and it was all over the news. He's beloved. He's beloved by the city of Boston, baseball fans around the world, and his teammates, which tells you a lot about that person. So for this to happen in his hometown, in the Dominican, or I don't know the hometown, but in his home country, right. It's very sad.
It kind of makes sense. So I listened to a lot of hip-hop podcasts that talk about just like the general issues of the day. And strangely enough, a couple weeks ago, they were talking about, obviously, the whole Nipsey Hussle aftermath, the rapper that was shot in his store in his hometown. And they were saying, can you go back to where you're from? And at first people were like, oh, you're not keeping it real. What are you too good? You went Hollywood on us. But when you do return home, because there are human beings that you grew up with, human beings are subject to jealousy. You go back there, you're now draped in gold and with money and with status, and they probably are not, or definitely not to the level you are. And that jealousy can breed violence, and I think that's what we saw there. Because we didn't see an attempted robbery where the guy found out later it was David Ortiz. He knew exactly who he was shooting at, and he shot at that guy. And he, you know, so it's a question like, can you go back to where you're from if you do have a certain kind of status?
It's just sad because he gives so much back to his home country too, and he was shot in the back.
Right, in the back.
In the back.
You know, I'm just wondering, I mean, the Department of Tourism in Dominican Republic has got to be scrambling right now. There's been so many less than stellar stories about tourists dying
in the Dominican
Republic. So they really depend on tourism for income, and I hope that they can get it together.
Thank God he's okay.
Yeah,
oh my God, Big Papi.
Absolutely.
I love saying
Way
that.
to keep up with the times.
Yep.
There you go.
I'm hip.
He's retired, by the way.
Oh.
Chris Pratt and Catherine Schwarzenegger say they're feeling blessed right now. The couple tied the knot yesterday. They shared this photo on Instagram, writing, "Yesterday was the best day of our lives. We became husband and wife in front of God, our families, and those we love." But some fans are bothered by what Chris said, saying the best day of his life. But he said our life. I should make that clear. Chris was married before to actress Anna Faris, and the two have a 6-year-old son. His name is Jack. Should he be calling his new wedding day the best day of his life? Again, I want to reiterate, he said the best day of our life, and we keep saying that he said his.
I was not triggered, but at first when I saw that, I was like, ooh, if I were Jack, I'd feel really bad about myself. But then Erica Cobb, being the genius that she is, said, it's the best day of our lives, and it is the best day of their life. It's starting off.
I agree.
So
I totally agree.
I take it back, but I had to check myself because I was like, ooh, that Anna Faris might not have liked that, and her son might have not liked that.
I have an unpopular opinion about this. I feel like everybody's best day is like when their kid is born, but like Janet said, what have you done for me lately? I mean,
to the kid?
Yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm saying, but like that kid has had 6 years to make some kind of impression on his parents. He has not done that.
Oh my
Another
gosh,
one stepped
stop
in
it. You
and
are the
took that
worst.
best day of my life title.
You are the worst.
Erica, you always said people need incentive. That 6-year-old now has an incentive to get the best day of my life.
You're the worst, Al. No, I think it is an important thing to talk about because clearly sometimes marriages don't work out. Shocker. Sometimes people decide to get remarried. I was certainly in that place, and some people had feelings about how I handled this marriage and the fact that I had been married before.
Without going too deep into, what do you mean they had feelings?
Well, like when I would say I've met the love of my life, like things like that. That's how I feel. And by the way, that's how I feel. And I'm allowed to feel like that. You want to know why? Because it's my life, and I get to make those decisions. So when you're talking about the best day of our life, it's your life that you've decided to embark on together. And people really need to step off what's happening in other people's relationships and bedrooms.
Yeah.
I agree.
I had to check myself. I cobbed myself. Yeah, I had to check myself before I wrecked myself.
That's not Cobb. I think that's DMX.
That's Ice Cube. You didn't know that was Ice Cube?
That was bad.
Everything about it was bad. It was terrible.
Listen, let's move on to somebody cool.
Oh, God.
Can we talk about the Biebs? Yes. Because he's ready to throw down. The 25-year-old singer challenged Tom Cruise to a fight of all people, and we're not sure why. Bieber tweeted, I want to challenge Tom Cruise to fight in the octagon. Tom, if you don't take this fight, you're scared and you will never live it down. Who is willing to put up the fight? Well, no word yet from the 56-year-old Mission Impossible star, but he does his own stunts. We all know about Tom Cruise, but who wants to take Bieber up on his request? I'll tell you who. Conor McGregor tweeted, if Tom Cruise is man enough to accept this challenge, McGregor Sports and Entertainment will host the bout, but does Tom Cruise have the sprouts to fight like he does in the movies? Stay tuned to find out.
The sprouts.
I mean, that knows how to sell a fight. I mean,
He does.
Conor McGregor is the most famous UFC guy because he knows how to sell a fight. I will watch that fight, but I think, and Jeff, I want you to have the final word.
Cruise would kill
I don't think the Biebs wants this one.
I don't think he does either. I think Biebs is watching Mission Impossible with his new wife, Hailey Bieber, and she was saying some things about him, and he wasn't liking it.
And he took to Twitter.
And he took to Twitter to call out Tom Cruise. But I think he would come out, stand in, and Tom Cruise would double leg him and tap him out.
That's it. Ethan
That's how I
Hunt.
think it'd go down. All right, guys, we are live. We'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. And coming up, a DBL exclusive. A valedictorian was denied the chance to speak at his graduation because he wrote about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school. Well, today, that young man, Nat Worth, is live in studio right here on DBL. He'll join our panel and share his emotional experience with us. And later, Jeopardy champ, or former champ, I should say, Ken Jennings sits down with DBL, find out what he's been up to and what he thinks about those conspiracy theories around James Holzhauer's jaw-dropping win. Don't go away.
All right, you want to know something funny? So this
You're
is
in
our
like
guest.
a really bad spot right now.
Oh, beep, beep, beep.
I just got scolded like so hardcore. So Jeff was trying to remember how to say Nat, not Nate. So he writes down in his prompter and on his thing, K-N-A-T, like Nat. I'm like, no, that's spelled G-N-A-T. So you even got that wrong.
And then when he first sat down, when Nat first said, see, I'm going to screw it up. When Nat first sat down, I go, hey, man, I wrote your name, Nat, K-N-A-T. So I know, and he's just like, cool. And
makes no sense.
He's a valedictorian. You could have said, hey, dummy.
It's G-N-A-T. Sorry.
Hey, dummy, where am I?
That's how we do it over here.
You're in the middle.
You're right here. I'm switching
Nat.
over. I think I'm that skinny. That's very nice.
Because it's not behaving.
Oh,
All right, keep
hi.
going.
So bad, Tori, bad. Oh, because I got scolded by you. First of all, you don't really dislike me.
No.
Okay, say
You're
that.
You're my favorite panelist. She's my favorite panelist.
What?
I'll pay you
You
later.
didn't have a second of all after your first.
Second of all, I'm a liar. People writing in, Ortiz is flying back to Boston. Doctors deemed him safe to fly from the Dominican Republic, which is amazing. Kelly Schuberth, you almost made me cry there at the end. She's so sweet. Great Monday. I love you guys, says Hugh Bean. Wait till you guys see this next segment. We have an incredible student here with an incredible message who is almost not given that opportunity. Wait till you see it.
Welcome back to DBL. The headlines say it all. A high school valedictorian wrote about being gay in his graduation speech. The school administrators canceled it. The story got a lot of coverage from the New York Post, Newsweek, BuzzFeed, and more. Meet Nat Worth, who says he wanted to use his speech at graduation to talk about being a gay student at his Lutheran high school in Wisconsin, but the administration said no. Now follow me here. Nat worked hard for 4 years to become the best in his class, and all he wanted to come from this was to be himself in front of his classmates. But when the administration found out, they canceled his speech. The story horrified us here at Daily Blast Live, and when we heard about it, we picked up the phone and flew him out here, and we're giving him the spotlight. So joining us today is Nat Worth. Let's welcome him to the DBL studio. Thanks so much for being here, buddy. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. Let's get right to it. When the administration told you that you were going to cancel your speech, how did that make you feel?
I initially felt very angry towards them, of course, like anyone would when they're told they can't do something that they were looking forward to. But then I felt empowered with a story that I could come forward with to the press and speak up about, so that way I could expose the administration's abuse of power.
Were you given a reason why they did this?
They were very vague. I'll go with the timeline. On Monday, Monday of graduation, they came to me and told me that they were concerned about me giving a speech and that they didn't want it to be controversial.
That's all they said, controversial.
Yeah, and they were very vague about their guidelines. And I had written the speech on the previous Sunday, and I submitted the speech to them Monday night, which was early considering that they set the deadline for the rough draft on Wednesday. And when I sent them the speech, there was one paragraph in it where I talked about my experience at Lutheran High School as a gay student, and I even gave them a disclaimer that said I was willing to take it out if they didn't like it.
Wow.
And I was willing to work with them to write a speech that they didn't think was controversial.
Well, to be fair, we did reach out to the Sheboygan Lutheran High School for their side of the story, and they sent us a statement that reads, Sheboygan Lutheran High School does not discuss student family issues with the media. They are handled confidentially with each family.
And I did also want to put in that I also noticed when they wrote in, it said policies are created using biblical preferences. So that has a whole other undertone to it, which is interesting. Let's step back here and hear about your story. Tell us about you. Now, when did you know you're gay, and when did you come out to your parents?
Well, I first knew that I was gay probably in 7th or 8th grade, like most people, but I wasn't comfortable calling myself gay probably until my sophomore year of high school, maybe even a little later, just because it took so long for me to accept who I was, surrounded by a family that wasn't supportive and a school that preached that there was something wrong with gay people and that it was a sin and disgusting, and a church too. So just my entire life was telling me that there was something wrong with me. So that's why it took me 4 years. And then I finally came out to my family on my 18th birthday. We were in Texas, and I blew out the birthday candles, and I said, Mom, I'm gay. And my parents were very surprised, which is kind of funny because I thought it was obvious. But yeah, they were surprised. And ever since, it's just been a struggle to get them to accept me. And they still haven't. But I luckily haven't been kicked out of my house. But I know that many people are. And that it's so important for me to speak up so that way it doesn't happen to anyone in the future.
Now, you identify as a Christian.
Yes.
And you believe in God. So, and you are also identify as a gay male.
Yep.
So, because to me, this is very interesting, especially the biblical preferences, because I attended DePaul University, which is the largest Catholic university in the country. And in 2013, DePaul implemented the LGBTQ minor for LGBTQ studies so that we would have more understanding. And actually, it was stated that it was probably in the best interest for the church to have this conversation openly. So you can take that minor in that class. For that to be a Catholic university and be so accepting of LGBTQ community, and then on another level, there's another church or another stance, I think people are very confused about where the stance really is. But you talked about in your speech
religious diversity, yes. And in my speech, I talked about the importance of religious diversity. And even within our school, there are Catholic students that don't get along with Lutherans just because of church history. And the different types of Christianity that exist. And what it really comes down to is God loves everyone for who they are, and there's nothing wrong with gay people. And some denominations just haven't gotten that far yet.
I'm very happy you said that. I appreciate that. All right, guys, we have much more with Nat right after this. His high school blocked him from giving his speech, but today he'll get the chance. He was denied, and share some of it right here, only on Daily Blast Live. Don't go away.
Are you?
I just wanted to ask, I was asking Nat earlier about this, like the responsibility of like students these days. When we were students, not only did we not have cell phones, we didn't have to help face and change the world with global warming and gun control, and now this. Do you feel annoyed that the generation before you didn't take care of it? Does that make sense to you?
Oh, no, not at all. I appreciate the generation before mine. I feel like they've accomplished so much, and now this...
There's no anger at someone being like, why do I have to do this?
No, not at all. I think they've accomplished so much. When I look back to Stonewall, which was 50 years ago from just this month, it's amazing to see how far we've come, and I appreciate that, and I'm in no way angry at anyone.
And
but I see this as the last battle, just the last few religions that don't accept gay people, and I think that's really all there is left to overcome.
Are you willing to speak in front of the Wisconsin legislature, like everybody? Are you fearful of anything?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Wow.
Not speaking in front of people.
Wow, you're the right person for this job.
I just don't know where you get the courage. That was like such a...
Ironically, my school kind of prepared me for it. It's
Yeah.
kind of
Isn't that
funny.
funny?
Yeah,
That's
my
awesome.
school totally
That's
prepared
so
me to
ironic, isn't
give
it?
speeches and talk to people.
Yeah.
And now
be in
look at
front
the
of groups.
speech. Wow.
Yeah, right. It's kind of funny.
That's
awesome. Thank you.
Welcome back to DBL. We have a special guest joining us today. His name is Nat Worth. He is the valedictorian of his class at a Lutheran high school in Wisconsin. And as valedictorian, he was going to give his speech at graduation, but the administration canceled it because he wanted to talk about being a gay student at a school. Now, let's get right into this. I believe everything happens for a reason. Now, looking back, I'm sure you were devastated at the time. I always learned from my failures. I don't want to say this was a failure, but would you rather have given that speech, or would you rather have the platform you have today?
I would much rather be enabled to speak in front of so many people about my story. And when they told me I wouldn't be giving this speech, I wasn't surprised. I expected them to discriminate against me. By them coming to me on that Monday, telling me they were concerned, I knew that they were looking for any way to not let me give a speech or just to silence me. And the platform I've gotten as a result has enabled me to do so much more than I would have just if I had given the speech at graduation.
Absolutely.
Speaking of giving you even more, now what's interesting about your school, it's a religious school, but it gets state funds, am I right? So
Yes.
you are going to speak to Wisconsin legislators about changing the actual laws, and we've seen other activists like Parkland students do this. You're joining that crew. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Wisconsin has this thing called the School Choice Program, in which state tax dollars are used to pay for students' tuition who want to attend religious schools or private schools. And schools that participate in this program, since they're receiving state dollars, tax dollars, they have to follow certain guidelines.
They can't discriminate.
They can't discriminate on the basis of sex, religion, sexual orientation, or race.
Race, gender,
yeah,
any
of
of
course,
that,
gender.
right.
They can't do that. And they're also not allowed to force students to take religion classes, which in fact, they've threatened to expel many students who don't want to take religion classes, and that's illegal. And I'm trying to bring that forward to the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction so that way it can be changed or the policies can be enforced.
I'm blown away by it. I am blown away.
I was not there at 18. I did have the frosted tips, though.
Yeah, you did.
I did have that. No, they didn't.
They did not look as good. No.
There's still time, Jeff. Now, obviously, one of the saddest things to come out of the story is that you didn't get a chance to give your speech. But the good news is you're here on national TV, and we'd like to give you a chance to do that right now. Obviously, we don't have time for the full speech, but if you want to turn to camera 2 and tell the world, like, what was the gist of your speech?
Sure. One of the things I talked about was my journey to self-acceptance and how it was a struggle for me to overcome people telling me that there was something wrong with me, and to really just come to the fact that God loves me for who I am and that there's nothing wrong with me. And that's what my message would be to anyone in a situation similar to mine, is that God loves you for who you are and there's nothing wrong with you. And to ignore everyone around you, even if you have no supportive people, to love yourself and to surround yourself with people that love you for who you are and encourage you to be yourself.
Well said.
I'm inspired.
And Jeff, let me just say, I know we're running out of time, but we're sitting here talking about his high school, which is, in my opinion, no longer relevant. You're moving on. What is relevant is we have a young man here getting ready to embark on college. So enough about speeches. Tell me what you're excited about with college. What are you going to study?
Dad.
What is like the first thing you're going to do when you get there?
Yeah.
Because Boston's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to Northeastern University.
Yeah. Yes.
It's right downtown Boston, so it'll be really exciting. I can walk to Gucci from my door. And yeah, and it's going to be great to be at a place where who I am, my sexuality, where it just doesn't matter, where I can just be like everyone else and be a normal person. Exactly, where I can be Nat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, and really quickly, what are you going to study?
Entrepreneurship and innovation.
There
So
we
you're
go.
going to take over the world is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Won't be the last we hear from him.
No, it will
Remember
not.
these faces when you take over.
Yeah. Remember the little people.
We want to be on the protected list.
Come back and visit us. Nat Worth, everybody.
Anytime.
There he is.
Bravo, bravo.
We'll be right back.
Rachel and Priscilla, welcome to Daily Blast Live. The two of you are involved in a lot of romantic situations with your co-star, Greg Polar. So is it ever difficult for the three of you to get through those saucy, sexy scenes?
The first one was not difficult, but it was nerve-wracking, I think, for me at least. And but there is, with three people filming them, and usually a Steadicam following us around, it's always a little awkward because one person's just waiting, like, patiently to go in.
I'm just, you know, we're like, have you had a mint?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, is your breath bad? But yeah, the first one for me, there's no one else to look at. Greg's not here.
So how do you get your sauciness on when you're surrounded by loads of strangers?
You just, you try and ignore, you know, you're in the scene and try and ignore everyone around you. But for the most part, our show deals more with the relationship aspect of things, so we don't have many scenes like that.
Are we trying to make you, me, and her look just like you and me?
And I need to know, what are you all looking forward to for the upcoming season? I mean, can you guys tell me any spoilers, any secrets?
Well, there's a baby coming.
Yeah.
I'm pregnant.
Emma's pregnant. So we're all of our characters are trying to, you know, figure out what that's going to look like now, having this little being coming into our lives just when we've sort of stepped into this new role of us being married. And how does that affect all of us?
You guys are all scared of rocking the boat.
but the boat needs to be rocked.
It'll be interesting to see how all that plays out, and I look forward to seeing you play a mummy on screen as well.
Thank you. It was fun. Thanks for having us.
Welcome back to DBL. Now it's time for our favorite puppy pitchman, Roman, to show us a new dog that's up for adoption. I want everybody to meet Sketch in today's Roman's Rescues.
Sketch, come. Sit.
Good boy.
Good boy. Hi, everyone. This is my friend Sketch here. He's 2 years old, and he is the sweetest dog and loves to give kisses. And he's been at the shelter since February, which is super sad. And he came with another dog, but the other dog got adopted, and he came in as a stray. He's a super good boy and is very, very good on a leash, but he only pulls a little bit.
Huh, is he gonna give you any more kisses rather than the business end?
Yeah.
He's like, I like my back rubbed. Sketch, say bye-bye.
Say bye, bud.
Say bye-bye.
Okay, so as we are at live show, Jacob Henry just wrote in and said, oh my gosh, what a cute dog. When I get home from work, I'm going to contact Freedom Ride on Facebook. I want that dog so cute. He'd be great for my addition of other 5 dogs.
Oh, all right,
We'll see
Jacob.
if that works out. How fantastic.
That is
That's
fantastic.
exciting.
Jacob turning into a little entrepreneur over there.
Good job.
We'll be right back.
And you wake up. Okay, so we do want to give you guys a quick update on a scary situation in New York. So a helicopter had something called a, quote, hard landing, and unfortunately the pilot, we're finding out, has died of that helicopter. It was really right within 7th Avenue, around that area. A busy place, and it caught fire. There was also some fire involved. So far, that's all we know. We just wanted to keep you guys updated on it, and we'll let you know if there's anything else. I know Eric Repair, who has a restaurant there, he's a chef, is closing his restaurant. I think 7th Avenue is closed right now, or parts of it. So if you're in New York, let us know if you're around. But
I know we go to you for all things legal, but this is just, I don't know if there's a law, but I would think somebody might know this. But I didn't know that you were allowed to fly aircraft in such dense populations like that, because I know when you do fly into New York, you fly around the city.
Right.
You rarely see planes going over.
In the airspace,
Yeah.
I know. I don't know if that's why they landed. It was like an emergency
maybe,
landing
yeah,
because there was a
I didn't
hard
think
landing.
about
Something
that.
went wrong, yeah, and they didn't land properly the correct way. But we just
Your
wanted to let you
screensaver
guys
is
know.
really disturbing.
Which this?
No, it's just.
It's too much.
It's a little.
I thought about it. Okay.
USA Network.
It is.
Remember Silk Stockings?
It is. Oh my God, what a good show.
That was
It's me and my husband kissing at sunset, but it's like, you know how sometimes when you zoom in on your background, it's like still or perspective, and it's like our lips are like
Erica,
right
am I out of
there.
line? Just show Erica.
Okay.
It's a little
It's a little much. It's a little close.
Erica,
It's close.
My mom walked into my house and goes, "You have a picture of yourselves in your bedroom?" And I'm like, "Yes." Is that weird?
I want to know what their idea. Like, can you picture yourself in your
Right.
house? I think that's weird.
It is.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
You are totally off base here.
Log on and join our live conversation.
You think this hair just naturally stays like this?
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. We're live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. Let's get to it, guys. Stars hit the red carpet for a historic night at the Tony Awards. While everyone is praising James Corden as host, we're getting ratings in that viewership was at an all-time low last night with less than 6 million viewers. So since you didn't watch, here's what happened. Much better. It was a fantastic job. The big winner of the night was Hadestown, which won Best New Musical along with 7 other awards. Actor Bryan Cranston won his second Tony for Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role for the stage adaptation of the movie Network. He defended the media in his acceptance speech. Let's watch.
Finally, a straight old white man gets a break. I would like to dedicate this to all the real journalists around the world. The media is not the enemy of the people. Demagoguery is the enemy of the people.
Demagoguery. Everyone is talking about Oklahoma, which won for Best Musical Revival, but more importantly, actress Ali Stroker won the Best Supporting Actress. She's the first actor in a wheelchair to win a Tony Award. Listen to her emotional acceptance speech.
This award is for every kid who is watching tonight who has a disability, who has a limitation or a challenge, who has been waiting to see themselves represented in this arena. You are.
I'll clap for that. Absolutely.
They said when she first came on to the Oklahoma scene, I couldn't believe this. She was the first actor to lead in Broadway in a wheelchair. I mean, it's like insane that they haven't been represented. It's insane that she won. It's fantastic. It's a huge step forward just to be able to see someone in a wheelchair. If you're in a wheelchair yourself, what an honor.
Erica, what do you always say?
If you can see it, you can be it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I like when we have answers for that because sometimes Al asks me, I'm like,
I know.
I don't know.
What goes up must come down? Like, I don't know. What do you say?
But definitely an inspiration for
Yes,
sure.
wonderful.
Our coverage of the Tony Awards wouldn't be complete without talking about the best and worst dress. Let's get right over to our resident fashionista, Stephanie Jones, with your fashion roundup.
From Hollywood to Broadway, stars put on their Sunday best for the Tony Awards. Rachel Brosnahan is by far my favourite. She looks ethereal in this Christian Dior gown, and she's giving me major fairy godmother vibes. I mean, all she needs is a magic wand, and any pumpkin would have been turned into a coat. She looks amazing. And take a look at British actress Cynthia Erivo. She looks classy and elegant in Chris Jelina's dress. It's covered in hundreds of ostrich feathers that were hand-dipped in yellow dye. She looks incredible. But did you guys see her handbag? She needs that caution warning sign because she looks so glamorous. I love it. And Regina King looks like a vision in pink, feminine, chic in this beautiful silky number, body positive and gorgeous. And we have to talk about the worst dress, starting with actor Aaron Tveit. I mean, I cannot even look at this suit with its clashing patterns. Whoever told him to pair that pinstripe jacket with this suit in clashing colours needs to be fired immediately. And I hate to do this, but Catherine O'Hara, what were you thinking? The actress wore this black and white striped dress, and she was serving up Beetlejuice vibes, which were surprisingly on purpose. She starred in Tim Burton's original movie, and the musical adaptation was up for 8 awards last night. But I'm still not loving this outfit. I mean, why has it got elbow holes? Maybe I don't even want to know the answer to that question. It's too weird.
Thanks, Steph. Yeah, that is a little weird.
I liked it.
Elbow holes?
I would rock elbow holes.
No, Erica always rocks stuff no one else can rock, though.
I'm a black man, like our elbows. That's the first part to get ashy. I can't shut that off. That's our Achilles heel, literally. Our heels get ashy too.
Your Achilles heel.
Well, thanks for breaking that down.
I'll make a diagram after the show.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys, actress Pauley Perrette says she's never returning to NCIS. She played forensic specialist Abby Shudo for 15 seasons on the crime show and now says, quote, "I am not coming back ever. I'm terrified of Harmon and him attacking me. I have nightmares about it." Pauley is referring to her co-star Mark Harmon, who has a leading role on the show. In a since-deleted tweet, she says a crew member on the show was physically attacked and says she tried stopping it. In 2018, Pauley did tweet she left the show because of, quote, multiple physical assaults.
So I did a little bit of research on this, and this is what I could find. Mark Harmon has a dog that isn't trained well and came onto the set just to hang out and wasn't leashed. And there was a pretty bad dog bite on a crew member. And Pauley, tried to stop it and say, you shouldn't bring your dog. And I guess there was some fighting. In the last 2 seasons, they're hardly on any, they wouldn't be seen together because they wouldn't act together. So it's something about this dog, but she says multiple physical assaults. CBS has looked into it and says there isn't anything there. It's very confusing.
It is confusing because
it feels weird.
I met Pauley a couple of times, a handful of times, and she loves CBS. I met her because she was doing something for CBS.com, is where I used to work. But she's been on the show for 18 years. 15 years. She's got a new show coming out on CBS. She's part of that CBS family. So for her to say something that happened on a set at CBS, and then we're not hearing from Mark Harmon, I just think there's more to this story than the information that we're given.
Well, there definitely has to be more to the story, because who's going to tweet something like that out, an allegation, and face like possible defamation?
Absolutely.
But the fact that we haven't heard from him isn't surprising. I'm just wondering if it's an attorney defending or an attorney launching a lawsuit.
But didn't she delete the tweet? And does that take away from you? Like if you hear that somebody tweeted an accusation and then deleted it, does that take away some of the credibility?
Well, the tweet about, I think we talked about 2 different tweets. The tweet about her feeling like she was going to get assaulted by Mark Harmon, that one was still there yesterday, because I looked at it and was reading all the comments.
She stood by that she is terrified of Mark Harmon personally and has nightmares about being physically assaulted. And I don't know if it's his dog or him, but something's happening there, and we haven't heard word from Mark Harmon.
I'm sure we'll hear more, for sure. This isn't the end of this story.
Yeah.
All right, guys, right now, cops are investigating Oscar-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. after allegedly groping a woman. Let's get up to Raquel Villanueva with news at the moment.
Well, Jeff, police confirmed they are investigating Cuba Gooding Jr. after he was accused of groping a woman at a club in New York City last night. The woman called police early this morning to report she was touched without her consent. TMZ says the woman yelled at him after the alleged incident, and security had to get involved to break up the fight. She claims he was very drunk at the time, and he is now facing a possible forcible touching charge. The 51-year-old actor has not responded yet to the allegations, and I'll keep you updated on this developing story.
Thank you, Raquel. I don't know, to each their own, but not a good look for me being 51 in the club.
Yeah, we did a story last week about Kenny Rogers. What did he say, Jeff? You got to know when to fold them. And it's time for him. Look, hey, all old dudes, including myself, all my old friends, Cuba Gooding, get out of the club. You're too old. You look like you're a co-owner of that place. You don't look like you're visiting it.
But do you think he's famous?
Yes, but you're famous to us. But to a 22-year-old that was 4 when Snowden, you're not famous to her. You're an old guy grabbing up on her, and this is the result. If this is 1990, Cuba could do no wrong. Time keeps moving on, and it seems like somebody's not changing with the times.
I like how you were going to reference Snow Dogs as one of his big hits.
Jerry Maguire, right?
Oh, yeah.
This isn't the time of Snow Dogs. You can walk into any club in New York City.
For Jerry Maguire. I love it.
Erica, you got something to say after
No,
the
I'm
DMX
not gonna
comment?
say it.
I got some over Erica. So they were right. So I just went after Erica because she's the only target I could attack because I was so wrong.
Snow Dog.
Hard-hitting news.
Oh, man,
Daily Blast
riveting.
Live. All right,
Do
what's
better,
the
Cooper.
worst excuse you've ever used after getting pulled over? Well, one teen takes the cake. Canadian police tweeted about pulling over a 16-year-old that says he was going 105 miles per hour in a Camaro. His excuse? He ate too many hot wings and needed to use the bathroom. Police fined him $966 for speeding and $203 for driving without a supervising driver. Hey, maybe he's got a point here. Maybe they're real spicy.
Can I say something? And I hope I'm not condoning this. But that was a straightaway red Camaro. A lot of people are making.
What do you mean?
Look, I mean, you're testing fate right there.
What do you mean?
Did you see the Camaro? Did you see any traffic on that lonely rural street?
Oh, you don't believe it's hot wings?
I just believe, like, you gotta, you just watch Fast and Furious. You want to see what's
He was just opening it up a little
I
bit.
think so.
I think it might have been the hot
think-
wings.
You think the hot wings is an excuse?
Yeah, hot wings don't do it.
Do you guys got a good story about getting out of a ticket? Or you want to talk about hot wings?
I've never.
Sound good.
I've never gotten out of a ticket completely, but I can understand my husband, who's Canadian, did the same thing the first week he had his driver's license. And apparently they have a whole different system there because he had to like go to court and be in front of the judge, and there was like a probation officer involved.
my goodness.
It's like a whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. And he was gonna say that he had to use the bathroom, but his dad was like, no, you're gonna say that you did the wrong thing.
Oh,
so that's the
wow.
reason why he couldn't get out of it.
Ooh, I got a hankering for some mango habanero right now.
A little
Ooh, that does
spicy
sound
chili
good.
sauce.
Is that your favorite flavor?
Yeah.
Spicy chili sauce
Yeah.
wings?
You just sound like somebody's never had wings. Just admit you haven't had.
I've eaten wings with you.
Spicy chili? What?
That's not a flavor.
That's not even a flavor.
The spicy kind, the chili kind.
How about buffalo?
That sounds good too.
Why would that be the first one you
I
went to?
like spicy chili sauce.
That's
no
not a
such
sauce that
flavor.
no one's
That's a
ever.
thing.
That's not. We'll look it up at the
Okay,
break.
that's a thing.
Coming up on DBL, we'll reveal Tori's sauce doesn't exist. And Gwyneth Paltrow and new husband Brad Falchuk don't live together full time. Could that be the secret to a happy marriage? We're sharing your comments in today's Fifth Host. But first, one-on-one with the original Jeopardy champ, Ken Jennings. Find out what he really thinks about James Holzhauer and his epic run on the game show right after this.
Hey, DBL Nation, welcome to the breaks, y'all. Me and Raquel here to talk a little bit about Dark Phoenix and the follow-up, the tragic follow-up that happened this morning. Gosh, guys, only 136 million in the box office. They could lose potentially between 100 and 120 million on this film.
And that's worldwide too, right?
Worldwide, it's 136. So that's not even domestic. They were actually assuming they would make over 100 million domestic before the movie came out. I want to say the figure was 140 million was what they were assuming, and
Which is bad
136.
for people who don't follow super movies. This is pretty tragic. What did the Avengers open with?
Right now sitting over $2 billion. It opened with over $1 billion. Man, this is not looking good. I mean, in comparison to Avengers Endgame, that is closing in at, it's the number 2 most highest grossing film of all time worldwide. And this is it's the lowest of X-Men ever.
I would like to say, though, that my movie that I watched in review that you can watch online now during the breaks, The Secret Life of Pets 2, did win the box office. So I'm happy I chose.
You chose well.
the highly reviewed film. I think people just did what I did. They looked at the reviews, and if you're not really a superhero or an X-Men fan, you're not really going to go see it unless it has really high reviews, because it's not going to be worth your time. And it sounds like that's what happened, because right now it's sitting at like a 21% maybe on Rotten Tomatoes.
22 last time I checked, not looking good. And also this is below the opening for X-Men Apocalypse, which opened at nearly 170 million. Just as big of a disaster, but I mean, oof. 136.
DBL Nation,
Not
what do you
good.
think? Is this the end for the X-Men franchise if it did so poorly? Let us know. See ya.
See you next break.
Welcome back to DBL. He holds the record for the most money earned on Jeopardy! That's right. Who is Ken Jennings? Earlier, I went one-on-one with the Trivia Wiz. We chatted about his new game show, and he tells me what he really thinks of the Jeopardy! Champion who almost dethroned him. That's all in today's DBL Spotlight. Thank you, Ken, for being with us today on DBL. I have to tell you, I am such a huge Jeopardy! Fan, and you're going to be on a new game show. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that about you. But you're going to be on a new game show, which we'll get to in just a moment. But first, I have to talk about you and James Holzhauer, because his impressive Jeopardy! Run, there were so many conspiracy theories out there about him throwing the game before he surpassed your winning record. And one of them was that you actually paid him to lose. What's your response to that?
No, there's no Jeopardy! Conspiracy theory is true. When you have a job like that that's paying you, in James's case, maybe $150,000 an hour, no, honey, he's not going to quit that job. He got beaten fair and square by a very good player, and I feel like it's disrespectful to her to say that maybe he took a dive.
That's fair. Now, I know you said you were rooting for James, but was there any part of you that was just a little bit jealous of all the attention he was getting?
The only thing that bothered me, I gotta say, is that people were calling him Jeopardy! James. And I was like, ooh, that sounds really good, you know? Like, he's got the alliteration going for him. I used to be the Jeopardy! Guy, but I can't compete with that.
I'm not so sure about that. And we know it's inevitable that you and James will go head-to-head at some point in a tournament game. So how would that matchup go? Give me a little play-by-play, if you will.
You know, I gotta say, you know, he's got a very strong Jeopardy! Strategy. He's got game, he's got a plan. The other players like me, we will have seen his plan, so we can make adjustments, we can play his game. It's been 15 years since I was on Jeopardy! This brain is not getting any younger.
I think that you'd be just fine, Ken. In fact, I think it'd be some of the highest numbers we've ever seen in Jeopardy! History, which, let me tell you, I've jumped over a couple couches in the past few weeks, so I know how excited Jeopardy! Fans are about this.
Let's bring Ken in.
Ken, come on down to the Trivia Dome.
So I jump at the chance to do any kind of a game show like that again. As a game show buff, it was a huge fan to do Best Ever Trivia Show, for example, and to kind of, you know, see if I still have it. I'm going head-to-head against some pretty smart people on that show. As a pretty competitive guy, it's nice to win. It was also a pleasure to get beat and see somebody win the $10,000.
Well, I can't let you go without talking about, of course, we've all been rooting for Alex Trebek during his cancer fight.
So help me. Keep the faith, and we'll win.
We know that his contract with the show is through at least 2022. What do you say to people who want you to be the next Jeopardy! Host? And could we see that someday?
That's a huge honor that people even think that. I mean, it's very flattering to me that people associate me with Jeopardy!, which, as I said, was always my favorite show. But to me, Alex is irreplaceable. Like, it's hard for me to even talk or think about that show without Alex, and to talk about it without getting a little misty. I went out to Jeopardy! A couple months ago to see Alex, see how he was doing, and he was in great spirits. He was really buoyed up by all the nice cards and letters he'd been getting from fans. He said, you know, Ken, a lot of people don't get to hear this stuff about themselves until they're dead. You know, I'm very lucky. I got to hear this while I was still alive, and that was very touching to me. I'm really rooting for Alex.
Ken, I thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. We can't wait to watch Best Ever Trivia Show, which premieres today on the Game Show Network.
Thanks, Erica.
He's so awesome. Coming up on DBL, actress Gwyneth Paltrow and new hubby Brad Falchuk admit they don't live together full time. It seems to work for them, but could it work for you? Your comments are next in Fifth Host.
Hi guys.
So, I was just talking to you guys last hour as well, about something that's happening right now. And as amazing as Pride Month is and how fun it is and colorful and all that good stuff, it's also very important to recognize the injustices happening in the community as well. One of them being in Rikers Correctional Facility. Just this past Friday, there was a trans woman that was murdered there, and there's been a complete mystery onto what happened during this murder. What happened to her? Where was she? Does anyone know what happened? And as far as Rikers Correctional Facility is saying, they don't know anything. Now, this is a little disturbing based off of that this is just coming off the heels of another lawsuit and settlement that just happened against Rikers Correctional Facility with another trans woman in which she was awarded $80,000 due to sexual harassment. Now, with that being said, we want to really make sure that we are focusing on these issues because it is important to make sure that this is the whole reason of why we celebrate Pride Month, to bring more awareness to issues like this, to make sure people know about these murders and that these injustices still happen today, even in 2019, where you think you'd be safe, but unfortunately not everyone is. So her name is Layleen Polanco Extravaganza, and it's extremely important that we remember her name, just like Sandra Bland just 2 years ago, in which she was also murdered in a jail cell and with almost nothing or no trace of what's happened. So with that being said, hashtag justice for Layleen, and make sure that you guys also check that out for Pride Month. See you guys.
Well said.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host, and we talk about what you're talking about. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow has been married since September, and now she is sharing some surprising new details about her relationship. The Goop beauty mogul revealed that she and her husband, Hollywood producer Brad Falchuk, only live together 4 nights a week, and that he has his own house. She says her friends envy the arrangement and that her intimacy coach approves, whatever that is. But people on social media have mixed reactions. So DBL Nation, does this strengthen or weaken your relationship? Let's get to their comments.
Well, Bobby from Facebook says, I've been married for 35 years. I miss my husband so much when we are apart, even his snoring. Bobby, that's adorable. So I have a template for this because my parents didn't live under the same roof for about 3 to 4 days a week, sometimes 5, for 20 years. My dad had his business 2 hours away from our family home, and they made they decided to put us first as the kids and not take us out of school systems and have to redo this. So they did it for 20 years, and they'll be celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary this year. So it can work. You just have to prioritize what's important.
Well done, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, wow.
Linda from Facebook says, I'm 72 years old, and my husband of 44 years has slept in a separate room for about 20 years, and I love it. Linda, you figured out the first rule of life is make sure you guys both get a good night of sleep, and that'll make the relationship go much, much more smoothly. Look, everybody's got their own arrangement. Don't try and make a cookie cutter like, well, I see this in the movies or on TV, so this is how I have to live my life. No, you guys figured out what works for you guys, and it looks like several decades later, you guys are still going strong, so keep it up.
Yeah, Reggie from Facebook says, my husband and I live apart, and it works for us. We have 2 grown kids, so now we have the freedom to live in separate spaces. I think that's fantastic that it worked for you. I am super connected to my husband, and I don't like spending any time apart to a degree which is actually disadvantageous to me. Is that the right word?
That's not a word.
Yeah,
okay.
You just said it.
Okay, so what I mean is I need to be learning to spend more time apart. So I'm learning from all of you that this is actually a good thing, and absence can make the heart grow fonder. So I'm gonna take some time. I drove myself to do all Saturday by myself in the hailstorm, and I drove.
Are you going to just let that sit, Al?
You drove yourself?
Yes, I did.
And it was pretty shocking when I heard it this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nobody was in the
Were other drivers at a disadvantageous? Steve had his finger on that button. He knew something was coming. He knew it was coming. Karen from Facebook says, don't get married if you don't want to live with that person for eternity. I don't know why I'm laughing. I always tell my wife, forever is a long time. I'm with you. But you know what? You got to figure out what works for you. There's some nights where my wife is like, hey, why don't you just get a good night's sleep? And she lets me just sleep in the bedroom by myself. So you just got to work on your relationship. I think to each their own, whatever works for you guys as a team.
Whichever's advantageous to you.
Wow, the silence. That was for yourself?
Yeah, I think I burned myself.
Thanks for breaking up that silence. Coming up on DBL, a caught-on-camera creature has all of us scratching our heads Is that Tori? What is that? Don't go away.
Disadvantageous is a word.
Where'd you pull that out of?
From the word place, the dictionary.
You won't.
The word place. She looked up because that's where we grab our words.
Where do you grab your words from?
Huh?
You know a word I learned in 4th grade to spell because we were doing spelling. I've never forgotten it. Triskaidekaphobia. It is the
That's
fear.
a fear of the number 7 or 11?
13.
That's what I said.
Well, that went well.
Pretty good.
Anywho, I could. T-R-I-S. It's Triskai. K-A-I. Here, look it up.
No.
Wait a minute, you just said T-R-I-S-K-A-I.
One word that you definitely don't know how to spell.
D-E-C-K-A-P-H-O-B-I-A.
No one knows. No one knows.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yay!
That's like when you used to ask your parents how to spell something, and they would be like, look it up in the dictionary. Like, if I knew how to spell it, I would look it up in
When
the
my students
dictionary.
used to ask me stuff that I didn't know, I'd be like, look, I'm not going to do your work for you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
When they would come, especially like with questions from math class, I'm like,
Math was so hard. And then one time I asked my dad to help me come up with a word for Tory tackles. I was doing a Tory tackles thing, and he goes, how about Tory elucidates? I'm like, no one knows that word. That's so lame.
Was that one of your web
Tory
series?
Tackles anyway?
It was like, I would tackle a subject. Tory tackles the Super Bowl. Tory tackles politics. And he was like, Tory elucidates.
How did the Super Bowl segment go?
It went great.
How many views did that have?
Like 31.
What was your most popular web, like the number?
Tipsy Tory, where I got tipsy and gave tips.
Okay. And how many did?
Yeah, that's cute. Matt, say it's cute. That's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah. And the best one was getting a stuck zipper unstuck. Someone posted it and went kind of viral.
Okay.
Do you get stuck in your jackets a lot?
I do. And I know how to do it.
What do you consider
That guy
kind of
in a
viral?
little coat. What's that?
What's kind of viral?
Why are you doing this to
I'm
me?
just
No, your
curious.
mouth is curling up at the end. I can tell.
I just want to know.
What
You're
is
rubbing
kind
it
of
in.
viral?
I don't like this at all.
What is it?
Like a couple 100,000.
100,000?
Or like
Pull it up right now.
You do not have a couple 100,000.
like 15,000, I think.
Yeah, there we go.
That's not a couple 100,000.
I don't actually know
I think we know it's not a couple 100,000.
how to get out of this unstuck segment. Anyway, do you guys want to know how to do it?
Yes.
If you're stuck in a zipper, can't get it out, use a pencil, little graphite. One side, the other side, zoop. The graphite acts as a lubricant. You're welcome.
I don't know. When would that happen?
It's happened to me.
We've had to do it.
And
a
I
few
used a
times
pencil
here.
on Erica.
When do you have access to pencils? I don't even know where to find one.
That's
did
true.
have to find-
We did have to find
I don't know
one,
what
yeah.
a pencil is.
The longest part was finding a
the
pencil. We
Wow.
did that in
Isn't it
1999.
crazy? We can't even find a pencil.
Number two
Take a
pencils?
compass and a free eraser.
No, the protractor.
Yo,
Yeah.
Remember the
Oh my
protractor?
God.
Yes.
Churn your butter.
Welcome back to DBL. There's a bizarre video making the rounds online showing what appears to be some sort of creature. Is it Tori? I'm not sure. Walking down the driveway.
It's not me.
And it's not Tori. It's in the prompter to make it official. Let's check it out.
Guys, I'm not that short.
Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Look at the way
come
look at
on.
that. Look at that.
A woman who posted the video on Facebook says this was all caught by her home security camera. She claims the video was not altered, but we can't verify whether it was staged. Many are saying the creature looks like Dobby. Her
Dobby.
Dobby. What a little cutie from Harry Potter. What do you think?
I think she's got to move.
I think it's staged.
I don't know. I hope it is because that's terrifying. The way it moved like that?
Can we get the bam, bam, bam? We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.